What is up, boxing fans, Fight Hype family? Once again, from the beautifully decorated headquarters here in Las Vegas, Nevada, I'm here with another live round by round, holding it down here on FightHype.com. We got two big fights. We got boots on the ground with my man Hans Themistode at Madison Square Garden, ringside for Fight Hype, and of course Ron Goodall, ringside for Fight Hype in Omaha, Nebraska tonight for Terrence Crawford, the undefeated. Still in some people's eyes, the pound-for-pound king, definitely just about in everyone's top 3 or 5, defending the WBO welterweight world title against David Avanesian. And I'm hitting you with the live round by round for both fights. We're in the undercard portion of both cards tonight, and I think it is the top-ranked card with Teofimo Lopez and Sandor Martin that deserves more attention because of the plethora of blue-chip young talent on there like Xander Zayas. Keyshawn Davis just won a clean sweep through 8 rounds, 8-0 against Juan Carlos Burgos, a guy that has fought Devin Haney, fought Mikey Garcia, and Keyshawn dominated him in a step-up fight to pass his test in the 8 rounds where he's at now. So I imagine he'll get bumped up to 10 soon. But we still have Jared Big Baby Anderson, the best young American heavyweight in boxing, to come on the show, and Xander Zayas, who Puerto Rico hopes is their next Felix Trinidad, their next Miguel Cotto. So we got some great undercard talent in New York City. So that'll be the focus, but then we'll switch it up. Terrence Crawford's fight holds precedence even over Teofimo. So if both of those fights are running at the same time, we're going to give the Terrence Crawford fight precedent and call that round by round. You guys who've joined us for the round by rounds, you know how I like to do it. Kind of Don Dunphy, old school radio style, calling it right down the middle, the action as if you were there. For you guys that didn't order the Crawford pay-per-view, or you don't have ESPN Plus, or you're at work and you're on the headphones, I got you covered for the 2 big fights tonight. Teofimo against Sandor Martin, who retired Mikey Garcia, and Terrence Crawford taking on David Avanesian. So let me go ahead and check my chat with you lovely people that I'll be holding it down with throughout the night. And I think soon we should get some people in for the Terrence Crawford fight too. Might have 2 streams going at once, but and a shout out and a welcome back to everybody that was with me earlier when I was playing the Undisputed beta. I said I wasn't going to play until tomorrow, but shortly after getting off earlier today, I decided I'm probably going to start a stream with more Undisputed gameplay once we wrap up with the live round by rounds tonight. From Madison Square Garden and from Omaha, Nebraska. So let's get it. And speaking of let's get it on. Mills Lane getting a proper send-off at Madison Square Garden, the home of the immortals in sports, and Mills Lane getting a memorial count at the Top Rank show at the Garden. Mills Lane, rest in peace to him, man. He was when I go back, because obviously I'm too young to have really grown up with him as a ref. In Nevada, the referees I've grown up watching are Tony Weeks, Kenny Bayless. On the East Coast, Steve Smoger was my favorite ref. But I think when I would go back and watch Mills Lane, he was maybe the best ref I've seen on tape as far as judging a boxing referee goes. There's that famous photo of Mike Tyson the night he bit Holyfield's ear. And everybody remembers the photo of half dozen police officers, Las Vegas Metro Police Department, petrified of Mike Tyson and backing up from him in fear. But in the heat of the moment when the fight was going on, Mills Lane with that, that judicial background, with that law enforcement background, he kind of like, this little old man handled Mike Tyson on his own in the ring. And I remember he told him, bullshit, you bit him on purpose. And he let Mike keep fighting. And then Mike bit him again. Of course, he stopped the fight and disqualified Tyson. And that was it. But, a lot of us know Mills Lane from the ear biting. And then we know him from even Celebrity Deathmatch. Some of us who grew up on MTV watching Celebrity Deathmatch. But in terms of the substance of it all, not just his fame, he was a great referee. And he was great that night with Tyson. I don't know put it this way, right? Put it this way. Jay Nady, another Las Vegas referee, and I got love for Jay Nady. I got a funny story about Jay Nady growing up, but Jay Nady is about 6'5", 6'6", former military guy. I think he served in Vietnam, referee out here in Vegas. Mills Lane is a foot shorter, probably about 5'5", 5'6". When Jay Nady had to referee Zab Judah Costazu, Zab from Brooklyn, like Mike was from Brooklyn. Jay Nady, a 6'5" heavyweight, couldn't calm down and handle in the heat of the moment a 5'7" Zab Judah, a welterweight, a 140-pounder. Little Mills Lane in the heat of the moment, despite being, probably a $150, he calmed down the heavyweight from Brooklyn, not the 140-pounder from Brooklyn. So it's funny, little old Mills Lane could handle big old Mike Tyson, and big old Jay Nady lost control of little old Zab Judah. So, but shout out to Mills Lane, and rest in peace to maybe the finest referee in Nevada's boxing history. So, what's going on, everybody? What's up, Slim Trucking 100? What's going on? Dola, did Keyshawn stop him? Keyshawn did not get the stoppage. He actually looked a little upset in the corner afterwards, but his CompuBox was crazy. He landed at 47% of his shots. He threw about 570 and landed, roughly half of them, almost about 230 of them. And the other guy's connect percentage, Juan Carlos Burgos, was only at 17%. Keyshawn on the front foot really well. Very good combinations tonight. Still learning how to pick and place the shot and make each one count. But I love that he puts punches and combinations together. You don't see enough of that in today's boxing. Keyshawn's thing for me, it's going to come down to his motor because he can fight. He's going to get to a world title. He's talented. And I love that he's more of a front foot fighter. He needs to always remember that if he ever goes up against a Devin Haney or a Shakur Stevenson, because those guys are going to look to outbox him, and he can't stay on the outside with them all night and think he can outbox a Devin Haney or a Shakur. He's going to have to be on the front foot. And Keyshawn's been doing that more and more and letting his hands go more and more. But if he's going to get to the top of the top, it's going to have to be his motor is going to have to be at 100 because he's at his best going forward. I don't think he's going to get to the top of the sport by outboxing everybody. I think he can outbox the come forward guys, the pressure guys. That's where he can outbox them. But when he's faced with another elite boxer like Haney or Stevenson, he's going to have to understand that his best attributes are going to serve him on the front foot. And you got to out hustle those boxers. You got to be active and you got to be on the front foot against them. And so that's what it's going to come down to Keyshawn. I think he's going to pass all his tests but whether he can emerge from the Tank Davis, Teo, Devin Haney crop, he's going to have a good motor. So wasted talent. Shaggy, you the main, son. I appreciate you, wasted talent. And I love the handle name. It reminds me of A Bronx Tale, the great movie with Robert De Niro, Chaz Palminteri, and the great scene about how wasted talent is the saddest thing in life. So dope handle. Xander Zayas coming to the ring now. So we're going to kick off the round by rounds with Xander Zayas, Puerto Rico, one of Puerto Rico's favorite kids. Of course, Spanish, the first language, is from the island, but lived a lot of his life here in the States, in Florida. And this kid is who all of the Boricuas, who all the boxing fans are hoping is that next Felix Tito Trinidad, is that next Miguel Cotto, Wilfredo Gomez, Wilfred Benitez, and the list goes on. And Iran Calderon, if you like straw weights, minimum weights, Iran Calderon was as good a boxer as anybody in his time. So Xander Zayas from the Garden against Alexis Salazar, 25-4, Alexis Salazar. So Xander Zayas set to do his thing. Kid has good timing, good punching power, not blazing hand speed, but not slow either, like Miguel Cotto was. Although Cotto, a naturally smaller guy than Xander, started at 140. Xander's fighting at 154. Cotto was maybe a little faster because he's a smaller guy too, but Xander's going to have to beat the real fast athletic guys when he gets to the top. He's going to have to beat them with timing. Timing will have to beat speed there, but he has good timing. A lot of the great Puerto Rican fighters had great timing. So Alexis Salazar from Guadalajara, of course, the hometown of Canelo Alvarez. 5-1 in the United States. Again, 25 wins, 4 losses for Alexis Salazar of Mexico. A young guy, not an old guy. A guy that you can see is in his prime, is with Freddie Roach on paper, not a puncher. Just 10 knockouts and 25 wins. But this young man's a puncher. Sandor Zayas, 14-0, 10 knockouts from San Juan, Puerto Rico, the capital. Yep, here we go. Really? The WBA number 9 ranked junior middleweight already. Wow, really? Sandor already in the top 9 of the title picture. WBA titles currently held by Jermell Charlo. The young puppy is nowhere near ready for that assignment, but impressive that I think he's now almost of legal age, still not 21, but I believe he's 20 and already ranked in the top 10 for a world title. So Sandor Zayas, who has gotten meaner in there. By nature, it would seem just a really sweet kid, a nice kid, well-raised kid, but has gotten more and more of an edge to him as he continues on as a pro, is getting a little meaner, a little more spiteful in that ring, and that's what those fans want to see. Again, I got the BLK Prime fights opened up right here to my left to my laptop. We'll switch over when it's main event time, but here we go. Sandor Zayas, a little Mexico versus Puerto Rico action on ESPN. Sandor starting on that front foot and immediately pink trunks from, good right hand over the top by Sandor Zayas. Placed a nice jab, and then he shot that right hand over the top. It was a jab to the body to set up a right hand over the top to get Sandor Zayas started here in round 1. Zayas has power in both hands like Trinidad did. He got a good right hand and a good left hook. Salazar, from his first few punch attempts, not a super sharp, compact puncher. A little wide with his shots, and in comparison to Zayas, doesn't have that zip and snap on his shots here in the first minute of the fight. Zayas on that front foot, as you'd expect. Zayas, go ahead and let Salazar throw a jab to the body. He waited on it and shot a right hand over the top of that jab to the body and landed it good. Sandor, good head movement now from Sandor to start. Got away from a jab, and then Salazar trying to hook off the jab and then throw a combination, and Sandor showing some upper body movement there. And Sandor very accurate in round 1, landing a lot of right hands over the top, shoots the jab to the body, staying on that front foot. Now Sandor using the jab, not just looking to hunt for power shots. Good job setting up the jab for Sandor. And Salazar keeps dipping down to his right, bending down to his right to get away from that right hand over the top, coming over the top by Sandor Zayas. And Sandor already making offensive adjustments, digging to the body with 2 and 3 shots, and then finishing with the right hand, placing it where Salazar keeps dipping down to. Nice jab to the body and straight right hand for Sandor. Hurts Alexis Salazar into the ropes. Salazar stumbling into the ropes. Zayas is putting his punches together beautifully here and doing a good job defensively, coming forward, not taking shots, getting off to the body, finishing to the head. Very sharp stuff here from Sandor Zayas. Zayas dropping the left hand a little bit and catching lefts by Salazar with his right glove there. Almost looking like, a little dangerous. Not always used to strong kids using the shoulder roll on the front foot, but Sandor using it well. Now Sandor with a left hook, straight right hand, landing his power shots with great accuracy here and doing a good job catching punches coming back on the gloves. But Salazar is in there letting his hands go here, and his punches are just whizzing by the guard of Sandor Zayas. But Sandor with a pretty dominant round 1. All business, looking like a pro. He eats a jab there, though. They trade jabs to finish the round. And Salazar keeps dipping his head down, pulling it back and off to the right a little bit to get away from that right hand coming over the top, taking some of the steam out of it, but he got hit by it plenty. Big round for Zayas to start. Okay, on the replay, you can see Salazar. Okay, so Salazar was a little bit off balance. He moved away from the shot. He wasn't hit clean when he was knocked into the corner by Zayas. But that round was still largely all Zayas. Did a decent job good job defensively too, catching what was coming back. Did some good catching and shooting. What's up, Minnesota Mick? Antonio Pacheco, Puerto Rico in the house. Anthony Gonzalez asking who has stood up to me the most so far. I'll have to let you know get back to you at the end of the night, Anthony. I only saw Keyshawn to start. Still got Xander. I believe we still got Jared Anderson. So let me get a look at Xander and Jared, and I'll get back to you. I missed the Delonte Johnson fight. Just getting a little power nap in before we went live. So I'll check Delonte Johnson out probably later tonight or early tomorrow morning. All right, round 2 now. Back with Xander Zayas and Alexis Salazar. Zayas almost doubling up Salazar and connects that round 20-11. Salazar just very concerned about dipping his head down and to the right, away from that right hand coming over the top from Xander. And Salazar doing a decent job offensively. Xander firing off 1, 2, 3. Jab, straight right hand, left hook. Finishing off with the left hook to the body, but Salazar catching shots decent in the first round. In the first minute of this round. Double jab by Xander to the head, to the body. Now Xander trying to lead in with the hook, but Salazar doing a decent job defensively. Salazar using the shoulder roll, or the Philly shell, they might call it, to catch a lot of body shots on the elbows and on the gloves, and then he's just pulling his head back and down to the right to get away from the headshot to the right hand over the top. Now Xander missing that right hand over the top. Xander trying to figure things out, starts with that jab to the body. Now a lead hook up top. Salazar gets away from it. Now Xander dips his head off the line from a jab and digs to the body with the left hook. Xander shooting a right hand to the body. Salazar covering up, pulling his body down. Salazar trying to only give half of his body, fighting out of the shoulder roll. And doing a decent job this round of not getting hit, but not getting anything done offensively. Minute left in the second round. Xander dipping under a wide left hook and then resets in the center of the ring. Now Salazar tries to work his jab in the center of the ring, but good head movement by Xander Zayas, and he places his jab back in the pit of the stomach of Salazar. Zayas is growing defensively to my eyes tonight. I'm seeing improved head movement. And that was one thing with Miguel Cotto early in his career. He never became, a Floyd Mayweather, very few do. But Miguel Cotto got better and better defensively, and by the time he was a welterweight and moved up from 140, he could move his head and catch shots well, better than people expected early on in his development. And I am seeing improved head movement from Xander Zayas tonight. Not as accurate in round 2, but definitely taking the fight to Salazar. Good body work, not getting away from the body, trying to work his levels, but Salazar very wary of what's coming his way, fighting defense first. That's it for round 2, 20-18, Xander Zayas. Solo 310, they zapped my box. What do you mean? What does that mean? Fill me in, my man. Clarence Jackson, what's up, Clarence Jackson? Thank you for joining. What about Terrence Crawford and David Avanesian fight? Don't worry, I got you covered. I got the BLK Prime fights opened up right here. So as soon as we shoot over to main event time for Terrence Crawford, that fight has precedent. And we're going to call the round-by-round action live as soon as Terrence Bud Crawford's in that ring. But until then, I think we can all agree, ESPN Top Rank, they got the prospects. They got the bright blue chippers on the undercard. So for as long as we're on the undercard, I'm going to go with the ESPN fights because they got big baby Jared Anderson coming up. They just had Keyshawn, and right now they got Puerto Rico's hopeful next champion in Xander Zayas. Jared Anderson still yet to fight, hugging up Keyshawn Davis in the dressing room. Keyshawn won every round against Juan Carlos Burgos, dominated him in similar fashion that Mikey Garcia and Devin Haney did. So he passed his test. Back to round 3 of Xander Zayas. Xander doing a good job tonight with working his levels with his jab. He's been throwing the jab to the body even more than he has to the head, trying to work in body shots. Alexis Salazar, a sneaky guy, defense first, but he wants to catch you in between shots here and there. He's not doing enough to win, but he'll do enough that if you're getting lazy and reckless of what's coming back to you, you can get caught with some stuff and frustrated. And he's trying to frustrate the young man. Zayas in this first minute of the third, shooting off a lot of combinations, digging to the body, left hook to the body, trying to finish off with right hands up top. Salazar dipping around awkwardly, throwing an awkward shot after the slip here and there, not going punch for punch with Zayas, eating some body work, blocking some body work with the elbows, pulling away from headshots, but Zayas taking the fight to Salazar. Good punch selection, even though not everything's landing. It's still good punch selection. He's starting with a jab to the body, bringing the right hand up top, digging the left hook to the body, then a 1-2 back up top. Nice left hook to the body by Zayas, and then he brings the left hook up top, and then he catches the left hook coming back with his right glove. Now left hook lands for Zayas again. 1-2 lands for Zayas, again, Alexis Salazar pulling away from those right hands a lot. That's the punch he seems most concerned with. But good punch selection and variety by Sandor Zayas here. And good defense by Zayas tonight, too. Nice left hook to the body, right hand over the top. Working levels with his combinations. Now a jab to the stomach and 2 left hooks to the body by Sandor Zayas. Not slow at all. Not a blazing hand speed guy, but like Cotto and Trinidad were fast enough. Not slow. Minute left in this third round. Good stuff by Sandor Zayas thus far. He nods his head again, starting to stick his tongue out a little bit, lick his chops. Zayas feinting, trying to change the levels with the feints. Now Alexis Salazar works his left hand 3 times and lands a right hand after working his lead left hand 3 times. Salazar shakes his head after dipping away from 3 punches in combination by Zayas. Zayas backing him up on the ropes now. Salazar in the corner, dipping his head away from the right uppercut and the left hook up top. Zayas forced to just commit to the body, take what's there to the body. Good left hooks to the body by Zayas. Salazar, a crafty veteran, though. Alexis Salazar not fighting like a typical, guy from Mexico, the stereotypical Mexican style. He's a slick guy. He's a spoiler. He's a slick guy. Savvy vet. They trade jabs. Good jab by Salazar, too. Good up jab by Salazar. Both guys landed their jabs there. And Zayas finishing, working his levels with his combination. Left hook to the body, right hand up top to finish round 3. Good stuff by Sandor Zayas. He continues to grow. That's what you want to see at this stage. Head movements coming along, getting a little more explosive, a little quicker, a little faster, and good punch variety. Jab to the body, right hand up top, left hook, right, sweeping right hand to the body, back with the jab with the levels, left hook to the head, left hook to the body, and yeah, doing good stuff right now against a guy that's not a puncher, not the most dangerous, but he is crafty and sneaky and a little awkward and very defensively, very defense first. So, Spence, Eric R saying Spence was in another car accident. Not quite. I'm hearing a kid took off with his car and got the car totaled, but the kid's fine, I think. Errol's fine. I know that. Errol's fine. Errol himself didn't get in another car accident. His car got totaled, but he wasn't in the car, I believe. All right, here we go. Round 4 now. Back to little Puerto Rico, Mexico action. 52-32. Connect advantage for Sandor Zayas. 2 double left hooks from Zayas there. Zayas actually taking a half step back, hook to the body, hook to the head as Salazar took the rare step forward. Good head movement by Zayas. Dipped underneath the jab and the hook. Salazar trying to hook off the jab with his lead hand, and Zayas dipping under, making him hit air. Not just relying on picking his hands up to block shots, but using head movement. Good left hooks by Zayas, and good swimming without getting wet in close. Zayas keeping that left hand low, but using the shoulder roll well inside, catching left hooks with the right glove, and not getting hit with any right hands over the top of that shoulder in close. Good work rate. Now Zayas getting touched up a little bit on the inside, but for the most part, he's keeping that shoulder roll guard fairly tight. Now Zayas picks the hands up, drops that left hand back down around the waist. Zayas inching forward. Makes Salazar miss a wide left hook. Counters with a little right hand. Good counter there. Nice jab to the pit of the stomach by Sandor Zayas. Now he tries to hook off the jab twice, but Salazar pulling back a little bit, getting that right glove up. Both guys using the shoulder roll tonight. Oh, nice right hand counter by Alexis Salazar. Zayas trying to jab his way in and then catch the jab and hook off the jab, and he ate a right hand trying for that. So now he eats a jab. Another good left hand there by Alexis Salazar. Salazar against the ropes, though, and a right hand, left hand to the body, sets up a straight right hand that knocked his head back against the ropes. Good shot for Sandor Zayas. Minute left in the fourth. Nice double jab by Zayas to the chest, sets up a right hand around the elbow to the body, and then a left hook up top to the head. Changing levels with his combinations all night, Sandor Zayas. 45 seconds left in this round. Zayas shoots that jab to the stomach and tries to hook off of it up top. It's all Sandor Zayas taking the fight, getting off first. Not receiving too much of the counter punches coming back from Salazar, who's had a solid defense tonight. There he shows it again. Zayas trying to jab to the body, left hook, right hand up top, but Salazar getting away from the headshots. Salazar, kind of a tall guy, too. You're not going to see a whole lot of guys from Guadalajara fight like this. Nice left hook to the body, sets up a right hand up top. And Alexis Salazar nodding his head like, yeah, come on. And he touches gloves to end the fourth. All Sandor Zayas. Sandor Zayas treating this guy like just another test, and I'm passing it. Who's fighting at the Bud event right now? Let me see. Who are these cats? Eduardo Baez. Or is that Leonardo Baez? I think it's Eduardo Baez is fighting on the Bud card. And again, we will be going right over to Bud once it's main event time. But for as far as the undercards are going, we'll stick with Sandor Zayas. Chris Level said, yeah, he was in the car, but it was bulletproof, so all the heavy metal kept him safe, but he was in the car. Errol was in the car, Chris? Or the kid was in the car? Well, obviously the kid was in the car. He drove it. But Errol was in the car? That's what you're saying? And Pat G, so good to see you, man. Thank you for always holding it down with us in the chat. Eric R. Keyshawn messed up your parlay, needed a stoppage. Yeah. That sucks, bro. I'm sorry to hear that. Who else was on the parlay? Yeah, let me know who else was on the parlay. Because you may not have been in the clear yet. Like, was he the last one? Because did you still need Jared to deliver and CEO and Terrence? All right, round 5 with Xander. The jab to the body. Again, he's been consistent with that jab to the body and with the left hook to the body. 2 hard left hooks to the body getting in there as they're exchanging, both running their combinations in the center of the ring. Xander smart enough to place that hard left hook in the body. Salazar opening up a little bit more here in the first round, and that's allowing Xander to punch in between his punches and kind of counterpunch him with that left hook to the body. Counterpunching doesn't always mean you're taking a step back or a step off to the side. Sometimes you could be in front of the guy and you're countering, catch and shoot. And Xander doing that very well in the first minute of round 5. And Salazar not letting his hands go as much now after that first minute because he got beat in those exchanges there by Xander. Good punch placement by Xander. Salazar not opening up as much now. Now he tries to turn on a big left hook, but Xander saw that coming, slipped underneath it, and committed with another left hook to the body. Xander finding something with that left hook to the body right now. Oh, nice left hook up top, sets up a right hand up top, and he finishes with the left hook to the body. Now they trade jabs. Good jab by Xander, sets up 2 body shots. And usually when you hear me say 2 body shots, it's that rat-tat, it's that left hook, right hook to the body. And Xander's done that beautifully. Not quite shoe shining where you're throwing 2, 3, 4, 5, but just a nice 2-piece. Wop, wop. Digging with 2 to the body. Xander does that again off the jab, digging with 2 to the body beautifully. Love it when fighters touch with the jab and then dig 2 to the body down. Xander doing that beautifully right here. 2 left hooks to the body again, off the jab to the body. Salazar trying to counter with the right hand, but Xander staying smart and focused defensively whenever something comes back. Good head movement by Xander. Balance is good. Balance is so important. Emmanuel Stewart said that was the secret to a great fighter is good balance, and Xander showing good balance throughout tonight. Offense to defense, defense to offense, keeping good positioning and balance, working behind the jab, establishing it to the pit of the stomach, sometimes even to the chest, to the chin, and shooting up the right hand up top, digging the left hook to the body, not throwing just one punch at a time, punching in between punches when Salazar does actually open up. We're closing round 5. Zayas showing the development you want to see. That does it for round 5. 5-zip Xander Zayas. Yeah, Pat G. Salazar is a decent test for Xander Zayas. Top rank doing their job with his development. That's what they've always done. From De La Hoya to Miguel Cotto to Zayas now to Shakur. Brad Goodman, who is in the box, who just got elected into the Hall of Fame. Brad Goodman, top ranked matchmaker. Bruce Trampler is already in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. His co-matchmaker will be joining him now, so they're both in the Hall of Fame. So they are. Even their competitors would admit that Bruce and Brad have been the best matchmakers in the sport the last couple of decades. So, Chris Levels, Errol Spence was in the car but not hurt at all. The kid stole his parents' car and drove head on with Spence. Oh, got you. So other kid's fault, right? Well, thankfully Spence is fine. Yeah. What's the chances that after what Errol went through, he runs into another car accident like that? Damn. Now, CompuBox has Salazar landing 57 shots to 79 for Zayas, and to my eyes, it's been even more lopsided than that. But Salazar, like he started the 5th, is opening up here in round 6 in the first minute, opening up with combinations, is touching the kid up a little bit. Zayas making him miss most of those shots, but is catching a few here and there. Now, Zayas, not the puncher that Felix Trinidad was, just not a concussive one-punch knockout artist, but has real pop in both hands, in the right and in the left. But more, not even Cotto, pound for pound, for his size, was a little bit more thudding puncher with that left hook than Xander Zayas is. But Xander is a good puncher. He does have punching power, and he's still growing. He's a growing boy. He's only 19, 20 years old, so good job offensively by Xander at times. Although Alexis Salazar not letting him connect with too much. Again, the guy is defensively crafty and a little slick there. And Zayas is eating a couple shots this round in the 6th. Halfway through it. Salazar fighting most of this fight in that shoulder roll. And he's been a little slick up top. Been a little tough to get to. When he takes chances, Zayas has been able to punch in between his punches and nail him up top. But when he's thinking defense, it's been hard to get to him up top. He's had to invest to the body. Minute left in the 6th round here. Been a more competitive round. Salazar has held his own a little bit more here. Nice right hand to the body, and then the left hook up top for Salazar, but the left hook was blocked. Now they're in phone booth range. Good left hook to the body by Salazar. Now Salazar giving off a right hand to left hand to the body in close. Zayas, nice double left hook. He finishes to the body with it. Nice left hook back to the body by Alexis Salazar. And Zayas, for the first time in a clinch, 30 seconds left in the 6th. By far the most competitive round so far. Center of the ring, shoots a jab to the stomach, does Zayas. Salazar coming back with a left hook to the body. Now Salazar stepping forward and hooks off the jab. Zayas taking a little clinch, taking a little deep breather. Kid taking some deep breaths for the first time in the fight. Zayas trying to load up on a hook and actually ate the jab while he's trying to load up on a lead hook. Closer 6th round. That might have been actually Salazar's round. If you're looking to give Salazar a round, that was it. That was it. So maybe 5 rounds to 1 for Xander Zayas. I could still see it a sweep as well. Jose Rivera, how can I watch the fight? Crawford is on BLK Prime. That's a $40 pay-per-view. But the Teofimo Lopez fight is on ESPN. I believe it's not just on ESPN Plus. It's on ESPN, so you don't need the ESPN Plus app. But if you don't have ESPN, I got you. Don't worry. Once action starts, especially for main event time, sometimes the undercard action, I'll call a more general description of what's going on, even though you still hear me calling the punches and what's landing and what's not. But once it's main event time, it's calling every shot like you're there, you know? So, because I know everyone's listening with more intensity at main event time. Boxing wise, Xander Zayas, Pat G says, boxing wise, Xander is good. He's got mad potential, and overall fundamentals are good for his. Very good fundamentals. I agree. Very good fundamentals, very good balance. Starts with the jab, goes to the body, is moving his head now, also catching shots with the gloves, not just doing a basic high guard. And no, he can roll a little bit, he can catch, he can move his head. And his game is becoming more sophisticated now. He's leveling up. Two good up jabs by Xander, right to the chin. Now Xander fighting off the back foot. Fought a lot of this to begin the fight off the front foot. He takes some steps back now, showing his athleticism, showing his footwork. Now he resets in the center of the ring. Touches with the jab, sets up a nice right hand to the body. Salazar trying to catch him with a left hook, pulling out, but Zayas with the right hand up in time to block. Now Zayas touches with the jab, sets up a left hook. Salazar, though, in that shoulder roll, a little tough to catch clean. Zayas, good defense, takes a couple steps back to make his man miss, comes back with a jab to the body to step back in. Good footwork by Xander Zayas here this round. Oh, he steps over to the side, tries a little Lomachenko action, misses 2 or 3 left hooks to the body, but nice setup there, stepping off to the side. Xander showing different wrinkles to his game throughout the fight. Yeah, Xander's boxing here in the 7th. Taking steps back. Nice check hook, and then he walks him into a right hand, spins him off in the clinch, turns back into the center of the ring. Good. Now Xander, nice jab by Xander. Two jabs. Then he steps in a left hook to the body, slips what's coming back, takes his half step back, resets in the center of the ring, runs quick combination, 4-punch combination, 1-2, then finishes the body. Nice left hook to the body off the jab up top. Another jab up top lands. Some blood coming from the nose of Salazar now from the accuracy of Zayas. Now Zayas steps in, slides with the shots, smothers Salazar, tries to finish up with a left hook to the body. Good stuff by Zayas. Zayas eats a jab there. Good jab by Salazar. Zayas sweeping the right hand to the body, but actually caught a left hook up top a little bit, reaching down to the body. So the kid's not perfect, still getting touched here and there, but showing good defense, though, not getting touched a whole lot. Nice catch by Xander there, caught the jab, and then pivoted off to the side, reset in the center of the ring. Good footwork there by Xander. Good left hook lands for Salazar, though. Hooked off the jab, and it got in that time at long range. Xander makes him pay for it right back, though. Left hook to the body and finishes with a right hand up top. And that did get a little reaction finally from Salazar, but then Salazar taunts to end round 7. Good round for Xander Zayas. Took a step back a little bit more than he did in the first 6. Boxed and looked good doing it. Looked good boxing. Showed some good footwork there. Good stuff by Xander Zayas. Kid always impresses me. Barry Lilly says, loves the watch along. Hit the likes. I agree with Barry's sentiment. Thank you, Barry. Ace World. Hey, man, what about Teofimo Lopez? Ace. He's the main event. Xander Zayas is on the card right now. Then Jared Big Baby Anderson, the best American heavyweight prospect. Then we're going to jump to your boy Teofimo Lopez in the main event against Sandor Martin, the man who retired Mikey Garcia. So don't you worry, Ace World. It's going to be all about Teo for main event time. It's just not main event time. And then for main event time for Terrence Crawford, definitely going to be locking in for the round by round against David Avanesian. And save your Kim Kardashian jokes for David Avanesian. All right, round 8. Xander on his way to what Keyshawn did, an 8-round clean sweep against a vet. He has outlanded Salazar in all but one round, the 5th, where they were even at 14 apiece. Sometimes I don't agree with Salazar, CompuBox, and this would be one of those nights. I think Xander's been a little bit better defensively than CompuBox is given credit. A little bit better. Oof. They're exchanging to start in the 8th, and it's Xander getting the better of it. Swimming without getting wet. Oh, but now a straight right hand lands for Salazar, but Zayas replying immediately with combinations. Left hook, right hook to the body, left hook to the body again, left hook up top, right hand up top, sweeping the right hand. That just pissed Xander off. Xander with a little blood coming from the mouth, too, so he's been touched. Xander says, come on, let's finish strong. Let's go toe-to-toe. Mexico, Puerto Rico style to finish this 8th round. 2 minutes left. Left hook to the body by Zayas. Zayas trying to get in close now. Oh, now he takes a little half step back. Dips underneath the left hook up top by Salazar. Salazar trying to invest to the body. Salazar, an awkward guy who will get his head off the line and throw a winging, sweeping, widely thrown hook that might just catch you pulling out. Nice straight right hand to the body by Zayas. Good defense by Zayas. Now he falls into the clinch. Does a good job keeping that shoulder into the chin of Salazar in the clinch. A lot of top fighters take that positioning in the clinch. Zayas doing it there. Salazar taking some wild attempts here and there. The last couple of he's taking a few shots. Eating a lot of hooks to the body has Salazar in close, but he's been crafty and a little slick up top. Only time Xander's really been able to nail him clean up top is punching in between his punches. 40 seconds left. Zayas looking like he wants to punch in between his punches. He's not just constantly throwing this round. Staying in front of Salazar, keeping those eyes wide open, and wants to invite him to punch something. There he does it right there. Left hook to the body, lands clean for Zayas in between the left hook up top for Salazar. Looking to punch in between his punches. Right hand lands in close for Zayas. Salazar not going anywhere, though. Was never really hurt or in danger of being stopped or dropped. Tough guy from Guadalajara. Tall guy, crafty guy, kind of a hard guy to hit. And then he'll swing at you with his head down and his head off the line. He'll dip down awkwardly and let the hook go behind it. And those guys are very awkward. That's it. That's it for the fight. 8-zip Xander. Maybe the 6th went Salazar's way. That was a close round. There may have been one round to give to Salazar in there, but I'm totally fine if you scored it a clean sweep for the Boricua, Xander Zayas, who will now be 15-0 with 10 knockouts. And I think so far that knockout percentage on paper represents very accurately his punching power. 10 knockouts and 15 wins. That's the kind of level of puncher he's shown so far in his career. I do wonder, punchers are born, but I do wonder if he'll become a little bit more devastating puncher as he really becomes a man, because Zayas is a guy who's grown into his man strength a lot quicker than most fighters do. He's physically, once you see the face, he's a kid. But if you just look at the body, he's already got the body better than a lot of 22 and 23-year-olds at just 19, 20 years old. So I'm curious if that power can still go to another level. He's got solid power already, but I'm curious if it'll even go to another level as he becomes, really, really gets his grown man strength. But Zayas continues to impress. So far, so good. Not quite the puncher Cotto was with that left hook, and certainly not quite the puncher Felix Trinidad was with both hands, but a good puncher in both hands. And I think, judging from his body type, I think he might be able to be a little bit more durable than Miguel Cotto was. Cotto could be a little bit of a glass cannon sometimes. Late in fights, his durability was always a concern. But Xander looks built a little. We'll see. But Xander defensively is ahead of schedule of where Cotto was at this stage of their development. But Cotto was a natural southpaw who fought right-handed. He just had a devastating left hand at 40 and 47. He even knocked out middleweights with that, like Daniel Giel. But so far to compare him to Cotto, he's better defensively than Cotto was at this stage. He may even be a little more disciplined working his levels than Cotto was, but Cotto was a little more special and dynamic with that left hand, that natural southpaw fighting in the orthodox stance. But the kid can get there. He can get there. He can get to the Cotto level. And here comes the official decision. Yeah, 79-73. So the judges did find a round to give to him. Zayas, yep, gets the well-earned decision. Lopsided UD. And continues to impress. Cotto can bang. Cotto was tough. Yeah, Cotto was. Rodney Mongi, you're not convinced. Zayas will never achieve what Cotto has. Well, no Puerto Rican has ever achieved what Cotto has, except Amanda Serrano. But we're talking men's boxing. He's the only 4-division champion in Puerto Rico's history. You know, Wilfredo Gomez, Wilfred Benitez, and Trinidad got it done in 3 divisions. Wilfred Gomez, 22, 26, and 30. Trinidad, 47, 54, and 60. You know, but Cotto went from 40 to 60. Sergio Maravilla Martinez was old, but still, he beat him for the legit middleweight title. So if he doesn't do what Cotto does, that doesn't mean he's a bust. It's just Puerto Rico needs and wants an elite fighter. And I think that this kid will get there. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing he boxed in the 6th and 7th a little bit, showed some footwork. He moved his head well for this stage, changed his levels with his combinations. I think I definitely would guarantee he's going to get to a world title, which, you know, I understand in today's sport that doesn't mean what it once was, but I think Xander passed his test very well tonight. You know, I give him an A-, B+, A-. Inside the squared circle, Xander is a real deal punching bag. I disagree with that completely. He moved his head well tonight. Look at his face here. It's not marked up. No, you're not bleeding anywhere. He moved his head well. Caught with the right hand. Caught a lot of left hooks on that right glove well. He was very defensively responsible, and he swam without getting wet various times, punched in between the other guy's punches and caught what was coming back. You know, there's only one Floyd Mayweather, one Pernell Whitaker. You know, like you're going to get touched up. And I think sometimes you got to grade front foot fighters a little differently, because when you're coming forward, there's just more opportunities for the other guy to get off. So you're going to get touched up a little bit more fighting in that style, but you make up for it on the offensive side. Weedy Gonzalez said Xander was as unimpressive against the Mexican taquero. I mean, but he fought a guy with about almost 30 pro fights, not an old guy, a guy that was defense first, who was trying to see the final bell, not get knocked out. And he won almost every round. And he just turned 20, and he moved his head. You guys are making it sound like you guys are kind of stereotyping him like he's this come forward, you know, Latin Puerto Rican fighter, just and that's not the case. He was jabbing to the body beautifully all night, setting up the left hook to the body, setting up body combinations, trying to finish off with the right hand up top. His skills are coming along. So we all want a good Puerto Rican champion. We all boxing needs a good Puerto Rican champion. You know, it's boxing like in sports. They say baseball's better when the Yankees are competitive. You know, football's better when the Cowboys are competitive. Boxing's better when Puerto Rico got an elite fighter. You know, same with Mexico. Haney was already elite at 20. Haney's much better right now than he was at 20, even though he was already. You don't got to tell me about Haney. I told people Haney was going to become the essentially the heir apparent to Floyd. I told people when Devin was 18, 17, 19, you could check my Twitter, that he was going to become lightweight champion. I told everybody, a year ago, well over a year ago, that when him and Lomachenko fight, he'll beat Lomachenko. Now everybody's saying that because they see Loma slowing down, but I already knew he was going to win that fight. He's still got to win it. They haven't gotten in the ring yet, but I definitely expect Dev to win. But Devin is a different type of fighter than Xander Zayas. And that's what, Xander's going to get touched up a little bit more than Devin, but Xander has heavier hands than Devin. And really showed a good wrinkle to his game with his body attack. His left hook to the body was accurate. Cotto had a great left hook to the body when on the come up. And then once he got stopped by Margarito and not always wanting to just stay in there as much, he got away from that left hook to the body in spots in his career. But this kid, like Cotto, has an accurate, good timing, well-placed left hook to the body. And he's going to need that against a style like Devin Haney. When guys are trying to keep him on the outside, he's going to have to invest to the body. And I like where Xander's headed. He's looking good. I think he's not far off at all from where Cotto was. I mean, Cotto was still an amateur, I think, at 20 years old. So if Xander takes tough fights, I'll respect him either way. Yeah, I think I definitely think Xander will he'll get to the tough fights. It's just Top Rank's going to do what they did with Cotto. They're going to build him up smart, and then when the time is right, they step him up with the Zab Judah, and then they step him up with the Shane Mosley, and then the training wheels are just off at that point, and you make big fights. But White Wolf, Xander's a 154. How can you compare? No, I'm not saying Xander literally against Devin Haney. I'm saying guys that do what Devin Haney does, guys that can make you miss off the back foot, walk you into shots, are terrific boxers with terrific defense. When he faces guys with those types of styles at 54, at 60, when he moves up, that left hook to the body is going to be one of the biggest. It might be the most important weapon against them. That's why Jose Luis Castillo, Miguel Cotto were able to have some moments of success, rare moments of success that no one else, for the most part, has against Floyd. They had a good left hook to the body on the front foot, and they moved their head coming forward. And that's what Xander was doing in spots tonight, and that's what he'll have to do later down the line in his career when he runs into master boxers at 54 and 60, not literally Devin Haney himself. Let's see here. Pat G. Yeah, Pat G said he knew Devin was going to be great too. I think anybody who saw Devin spar as a teenager knew he was special. Anybody in the Vegas area, or maybe if you got to see him out in the Bay. Weedy Gonzalez, thoughts on Ryan Garcia then, Sean? Ryan is he's blessed, and Jared Anderson as the Grinch. I took my son to see the Grinch 2 days ago. We tried to see the Jim Carrey Grinch, and I felt foolish. He got scared. Obviously, he's 3 years old, so we got scared of Jim Carrey. We had to leave the theater and go home, put on the 2018 little baby Grinch. But Jared Anderson styling and profiling to the ring, 12-0, 12 knockouts. Ryan Garcia, though, blessed with a tremendous gifts that you can't teach. You can't teach height, you can't teach hand speed, and you can't teach punching power. He's got all three. The stuff you can teach, getting your head off the line, head movement, having a great jab to set up that left hook he loves so much, that all needs work. And it's got to watch with a lot of interest against Mercito Hesta. Southpaw like Tanks, shorter southpaw like Tank, explosive Filipino guy, but limited, not very raw, not a skilled guy. Good tune-up for Ryan. Let's see if Ryan is using his right hand more, because if he's trying to load up on the left hook on Tank, that's just that one trick pony show is not going to work against Tank Davis. He's got to use his right hand against the southpaw, and he's got a good right hand. He doesn't use it enough, and the jab is almost non-existent with Ryan. So let's see how he looks against Hesta. Because of the things that he was blessed with, his size, speed, and power, you can't count him out against anybody at 35 and probably 40. But he is the underdog against Davis. But let's see what we get out of him for Mercito Hesta. My man, Weedy, thank you for the question. Hardcore Turtle said, I'm light work. You are light work. I agree. I mean, for anybody fighting on the telecast tonight, I'm light work. For any professional boxer, I'm light work. I agree. What Floyd say? I can still beat you though. Right? Isn't that what Floyd said? Still beat you though. This guy is a boxing analyst, not a fighter. Yes, absolutely. And although I had my little 3 amateur fights back in the mid 2000s, went 2-1, but it's a Floyd quote. Got you. I didn't know. Tank fought no one. That's an overstatement. That's embellishment. That's an exaggeration. He hasn't fought the other young guns that we want to see him fight. He didn't take the Lomachenko fight where people want to see it. But Leo Santa Cruz, little guy, I know, but a tall guy. And had beaten anybody he had ever faced to that point. Lost to Carl Frampton, beat him in a rematch. A little guy, a 118 pounder who started at 118, but a tall guy who could put that weight on and won titles at 126 and 130. Santa Cruz is a good win. You're gonna jump and go, come on, he was a little guy. Come on, it was this, it was that. Yeah. Still a good win. Still a 4-division champ who wasn't old, who had beaten everybody he had ever faced to that point. Santa Cruz is a good win. Barrios is a solid win. Arguably was undefeated. Has some close fights, but a tall kid, tall, well-schooled kid from Virgil Hunter. Big kid at 140, a little drained, of course. But went on to give a tough showing against Keith Thurman. Got beat in a lopsided fight, but he fought well against Thurman. Barrios was a solid win. Pedraza, of course, is a solid win. 2-division champion, Jose Pedraza. And Romero is a wild card. He's like the Ricardo Mayorga of today's boxing. Hasn't become an undisputed champ like Mayorga did. So, but Rolly's a dangerous lightweight. And then who am I missing? There's one more other win he's got. Isaac Cruz. Cruz is a legit top 5-ish lightweight. A good fighter, a very stout lightweight, definitely top 10. So that's an embellishment that he hasn't fought no one. He's got some solid wins, but still doesn't have those career defining, the equivalent of a Super Bowl victory. Beating Devin Haney for undisputed, that'd be like a Super Bowl ring in boxing. So Jared Anderson, 12-0, 12 knockouts. Jay Prince in the corner. Check out some of my interviews with Jared earlier in the week if you want to hear what he had to say about Tyson Fury and sparring with Tyson Fury and starting to set his sights on Tyson Fury as he moves up in the ranks now. Isaac Cruz was not a big name. No, not a big name, but a good lightweight, a legitimate, credible opponent, and a solid win. Reaching for Tank. Carlos Guerrero. I'm not saying he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm not saying he has a great resume, but he's got some solid good wins. I'm not just gonna play Tank like he's just fought Mary Joe and nobody. Those guys I named are credible fighters. It's just that you want those career defining wins, the equivalent of a Super Bowl victory, and that would come against, would have came against Loma 2 or 3 years ago, and right now would come against Devin Haney. Tank might lose against Hector Garcia. I don't think so. I think just Tank's going to be too powerful for him at some point, but I do think Hector Luis, for as long as it lasts, will get off some good work. All right, so Jerry Forrest, Jared Anderson, both coming out in that southpaw stance and trading jabs. Jared eating the jab and landing it, but not just Jared Anderson getting hit with some left hands over the top from Jerry Forrest, and that makes him back off a little bit and reestablish his jab. Oh, left hand over the top lands for Jerry Forrest, and this is the first time we've seen Jared Anderson touched up early, but back on the jab is Jared Anderson. Another long left hand from Jerry Forrest lands, though. Right hand to the body lands for Jared Anderson. A little wide and a little sloppy with his stance and punches tonight to start is Big Baby Anderson. His punches are not coming back to his chin. He's not bringing his hands back to his chin after he punches right now, Big Baby Anderson. The hands coming back to the waist, and then he's pulling it back up. And now a straight right hand lands for Jared Anderson. In danger of being caught opening up like this early, but a good left hook now lands for Jared Anderson. Jerry Forrest, the veteran, trying to smother him onto the ropes. and fight dirty, fight rough in the clinch. Jared Anderson complained to the ref about getting hit to the back of the head, but he wasn't hit to the back of the head. Good 2 body shots for Jared Anderson, but he eats a left hook up top for doing it. Jared's defense is leaky to start tonight. Good jab lands for Jerry Forrest. And the way they're swinging, someone's going to get put out early. Jared getting the better of it. But he's eating some shots to start and is defensively a little irresponsible to start right now. Jared on the front foot. Jerry Forrest near the ropes. Jab to the body for Jared Anderson. Looping left hand for Jerry Forrest, but Jared saw that one coming. Straight right hand to the body. Straight right hand up top for Jared Anderson. Jared Anderson digging to the body, but eats a left hook for reaching out of the body, but he takes it no problem. Keeps digging. Combinations for Jared Anderson. Eats a left hand, but he nonstop combinations for Jared. Jerry Forrest only responding with 1 punch at a time in the corner. Eats another right hand. Eats another right hand. 2 body shots for Jared Anderson and a right hand up top. Right hand, left hook up top. Right uppercut. Forrest just covering up in the corner. Referee looking on. Left hook lands for Jared Anderson. Jerry Forrest returns fire once. Referee looking on. Still in the corner. Straight right lands for Jared. More combinations. 2 body shots for Jared. Left hook up top. Now Jerry Forrest returns. Jerry Forrest returning just enough fire so the fight doesn't get stopped. Straight right hand again for Jared. Jared may be letting go of close to 100 punches this round in round 1. Jared, very irresponsible defensively, not concerned about what's coming back, a little reckless, but is pounding Jerry Forrest with combination. Straight right hand lands again. Forrest barely making it out of the round almost. He holds along the ropes, hits Jared with his free hand, but Jared had to have, I believe, and Forrest staggers to his corner, took a beating, a nonstop barrage of punches to the head and to the body by Jared Anderson with him in the corner. But Jared ate a lot of left hands to start that first round, too. A very sloppy round for Jared Anderson, but he got off offensively and landed plenty of straight right hands and left hooks and plenty of body shots. 1-zip Jared Anderson. Wow, lots of action in that first round, man. Whew. Jared, I don't love this from Jared Anderson. He may get the early stoppage tonight, and it's fun to watch. But he's being too reckless, man. He's getting hit a little bit too much. He's got to start things off tight. He's coming with no regard. Like, he just wants to bomb this guy out of here. And I've always noticed that about Jared. A little lazy bringing his hands back to his chin or back in proper positioning after he punches. He'll throw the shot and literally let the punch drag all the way down to his waist before he picks it back up. Jerry Forrest already getting looked at by the doctor in the corner. The doctor's taking a long look before he lets him out to begin the second round. And the doctor will let him out. Here we go for round 2. All right. It was 114 punches thrown for Jared Anderson. He landed 54, and he got hit by 16 shots. But that's 114 punches thrown by a 240-pound heavyweight. Now Jared looking for the pull counters. Pull, left hook, right hand. Jared loves those pull counters. Loves to stay in the pocket and do a pull counter. Jerry Forrest trying to shoot that left hand down the pipe. Jared saw it coming that time. Jared staying on the front foot. Jab to the body. Jared, nice jab up top from the waist. Now he lands a right hand down the center, but not super responsible defensively. But Forrest is already looking a little fatigued. Straight right hand down the pipe with Forrest in the corner. Forrest now keeping his heads up. Doesn't want to get hit with anything up top. Anderson pinning him along the ropes. Digs in twice with the body shots and it finishes with a jab. Straight right just off by Jared. Forrest still along the ropes. Right hand lands for Jared Anderson with Forrest along the ropes. Forrest in the corner now. Double left hook for Jared. Beautiful combinations for Jared, but he eats a little bit of a left hand coming back his way. That was a beautiful left hook to the body and left hook up top. Seldom will you see a heavyweight that fluid on the offensive end. Halfway through the second. Nice jab. Sets up a right hand. Forrest in the corner. Right hand. And that's it. The referee's already seen enough. And that's another knockout. 13-0, 13 knockouts for Jared Anderson. Got hit more than you want to see, but he wasn't particularly concerned. I definitely think against a better opponent, a more dangerous opponent, Jared wouldn't be fighting so reckless. But, if you're a casual fan and you want to see a big a heavyweight that's not there to fool around, that's not there to play with his food. That's one thing about Jared Anderson. He does not play with his food. You could never accuse him of that early in his career. He keeps the 100% knockout percentage. Pounded Jerry Forrest, threw 114 punches in round one. Beautiful double left hook to the body there in round two. I loved it. I love the fluidity with the combinations, the hand speed, the fluidity on offense. But gonna have to see him tighten it up defensively against better opponents. But I think he will. I think he just wasn't concerned about anything coming back tonight. He didn't have any respect for Jerry Forrest. Didn't have any respect for him at all. And you don't see that a lot in boxing these days. Jared Anderson brings in very little to no respect for his opponents. Doesn't play with his food. But he'll need a level of respect going forward against more dangerous opponents. But good stuff tonight from Big Baby Anderson. So what's up, chat? All right, here's the replay. Jab, nice right hand. Oh, not quite a sweeping right hand, but not quite a straight right hand either. He put just a little bit of an angle on that right hand by Jared, and then another right hand made Jerry Forrest kind of double over, bend his body over, and the ref had seen enough after that. Wasn't going to keep letting him take punishment. Oof. So Jared started the fight at southpaw and finished him off orthodox. Jared, very comfortable in both stances. I liked him better in the orthodox stance. Liked him better by far in the orthodox stance, actually. But he can switch. He's fun to watch, and he's got the crowd, the casuals on hand in New York hyped. Dope stuff by the Blue Grinch. Oh, is he blued up? Are you cripping, Jared? Is that why you refuse to wear the red Santa Claus? Is that why you're wearing the blue? And he does the whole thing where he refuses to put K after C. Your boy Sean's on the case. I think Jared Anderson is cripping. Anyway, 13-0, 13 knockouts. Emilio Beltran, what's up, my man? Sean, does Teofimo win tonight? I believe he does. I think Teo kind of had a perfect storm. Fought a horrible fight, a reckless fight against Kambosos, who had the fight of his life, the performance of his life that night. And but one thing I'm concerned about in this fight for Teo is Teo's more of a natural counterpuncher. That's why I knew he'd beat Lomachenko. Lomachenko doesn't fight off the back foot ever. He takes angles and comes forward. Takes angles, gets outside of your lead foot, comes forward. And so Teo was able to counterpunch and walk him into shots at times and fight in his comfortable style like he did against Pedro Campa. But when a guy uses footwork like Kambosos, or when a guy's tall like Nakatani, and he has to cut the distance, he's not as hot going forward as he is when you come towards him. And he can show off the flashy reflexes and punch in between your shots with power. So I'm Sandor Martin, coming from Spain. Lots of movement, lots of lateral movement. That gave Mikey Garcia tons of problems. Mikey showed up sluggish, flat, and wound up retiring after that loss. Even when he was able to pin Sandor Martin on the ropes, he couldn't land anything hard to the body. He'd get countered. The feet were too much for Mikey. And guys from Spain, Sergio Martinez from Argentina became the middleweight champ. But when after he got knocked out by Antonio Margarito, he went over to Spain. He relocated to Spain, and that's where he became this mover. And that's how Sandor Martin fights. So if that's how he fights tonight, let's see how Teo deals with cutting the ring off, cutting distance. Cutting the ring off is just something a lot of fighters struggle with. But that being said, I got the thoroughbred. I got the phenomenal generational talent. That doesn't mean he's going to be a generational fighter with generational accomplishments, but I definitely believe Teofimo's a generational talent. His blend of reflexes a hand speed and punching power, and he's a special talent, you know. So I got Teo still, but so how do I watch the fight? How do I pay? Says N. Oh, you talking about for BLK Prime? Go to the blkprime.com site, and you don't have to subscribe. I didn't subscribe. I just bought the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view is $40. They got Chris Cyborg. Holla at your girl. Chris Cyborg getting ready to box. Get my ears a rest here. Chris Cyborg getting trained by Jose Benavidez Sr. So I think she's the co-main, and then we're gonna rock. So looks like we're not gonna have a scheduling conflict. Looks like I should be able to call this Teo fight and then switch over to Terrence. But truth be told, the Terrence fight has precedent over Teo. So if we're in the middle of round 4 or 5 by Teo, I'll still give an update here and there, but I'll switch over to Crawford when Crawford starts. Kambosos is better than Tank? Nah. Kambosos ain't bad. Obviously, he became the lightweight champion. But no, he's not better than Tank. Who has Teo fought? Please don't overhype Loma. I won't overhype Loma, but Loma's going to the Hall of Fame when you mix the 2 gold medals, and it kind of like in basketball Hall of Fame. Grant Hill got in because he was so great with Duke, and then he made enough all-star teams in the pros that you put him in the basketball Hall of Fame. Vasil did enough becoming a 3-division champ, quickest to 1 belt, quickest to 2 belts in X amount of fights. He did enough in the pros, and then when you add in the stellar amateur career, he's getting into the Hall of Fame. So Loma's getting in the Hall. He beat a Hall of Famer who was the reigning champ. That's a signature win. That's a hell of a win. Outside of that, Comey is a solid win. He had a belt when he beat him, and those are his 2 best wins: Comey and Lomachenko. Nakatani is a solid, tough guy. That's not a bad win. That's a decent win. Kampa was made to order. Kampa was good matchmaking. Kampa was, let's get this kid's confidence back, and let's get a guy who stylistically is going to allow him to do the things he's most comfortable doing. All right. Grant Hill was Detroit Pistons for a few years. You tripping shot? No. I know he was. No. I'm saying Grant Hill, based on what he did in the pros, probably didn't do enough to make the Hall of Fame. But they put him in the Hall of Fame because they combined what he did at Duke. You know, winning against my college because I graduated from UNLV, beating UNLV, and then with Christian Laettner, and then combining making those all-star teams with the Pistons, and that he's this class act. And anyways. No, I know he played with the Pistons, and then he got the contract with the Magic and got hurt, and him and T-Mac were supposed to be this great duo, and it never happened. And, yeah, I know basketball, man. I'm a diehard Knicks fan. Hall of Fame for amateurs. Stop. I mean, be honest. I'm being honest. Even if you cut out the amateurs in today's era, he still makes the Hall of Fame. Gary Russell. After Lomachenko beat Gary Russell didn't lose for 5 or 6 or 7 years. He didn't lose for 7 years until he lost to Mark Magsayo. He was considered the best featherweight in the world after he knocked out Johnny Gonzalez. So he beat the top featherweight and then moved up. And then Gary went on to make that win look better. Nicholas Walters, we may have all forgotten about him now, but Nonito Donaire, before that great fight with Inoue, before he knocked out Ubali to win the WBC at bantamweight, Nonito Donaire got the only time he was ever stopped in his career before Inoue obliterated him a couple months ago was Nicholas Walters, and Lomachenko made him do no mas. That's what really started the no maschenko. Rigondeaux, now you could sit there and say, come on, man, Rigondeaux was a 122 pounder, but you guys were the ones saying he's ducking the Rigo-Lucian, Rigo. And then he put hands on the little 122 pounder. So you got to give him credit for Rigondeaux. Jorge Linares, 3-division champ, was considered number 1 ranked by ESPN, Ring Magazine, had the WBA strap, and he took him out. Took out Luke Campbell, who's a solid, never won a world title, Luke Campbell, but solid guy. And the list goes on. He's beaten some good fighters. Beaten a number of ex-champions, reigning champions, guys who went on to reign after he beat them, like Gary. So, Nah, Loma's a hell of a fighter. I've never been like when the Eastern Euros came here, I never went crazy. I like Golovkin, I like Kovalev, I like Loma, I like them. But I never was, oh my God, they're just the greatest thing ever. But I don't hate on them either. Lomachenko's a Hall of Famer. At 130 pounds, would he have beaten Floyd Mayweather? Fuck no. Would he have beaten Juan Manuel Marquez? I don't think so. I think him coming forward, side to side. I think Marquez eventually with the counter punching would have started walking him into some shots. Him and I got Pacquiao over him at 130. So it's not like I'm saying, Lomachenko would have beaten King Kong and Godzilla, but he's a Hall of Famer. And in today's era, he's going to make the Hall of Fame. That's a fact. So, running Reb 91. Hell yeah, I went to UNLV. We might be, if you were born in 91, I was born the same year. I graduated in May of this year. Better late than never. But yeah, I graduated UNLV. Triple G is a legend. Triple G, I feel bad for Triple G because when he first came to the States on HBO and fought Proska from Poland, he was bad. He was bad, man. He was, my eyes saw an all-time great middleweight. And he'll probably make the Hall of Fame, but his resume is lacking. His best win at middleweight was Danny Jacobs. And, it's not like Jacobs is an all-time great middleweight either. But we know Triple G was ducked by Sergio Martinez, Miguel Cotto, and even Canelo didn't want to fight him until he fully grew into 160. He got a fight at 64 against Chavez. Golden Boy did right by Canelo, but in doing right by Canelo and making sure their young guy was fully grown man and was fully ready, by the time he got to Triple G, he was 35, 36 years old and was still good. He wasn't what he was in fight number 3, just over the hill. He still had juice when Canelo fought him and beat him in fight number 2 and had a draw in fight 1. But that wasn't the same Triple G that came in 2012. Triple G was never a fast guy, ever. But him losing the hand speed at 35, 36, 37, it just made him too slow to beat a guy like Canelo. But early on, at 30, 31, 32 years old, never a fast guy, but he could put him together. He did have some fluidity. He wasn't as stiff and as slow. And, the guy at 2012, I think the last time I really felt like I was looking at something like a peak Triple G was maybe David Lemieux. But in his early 30s, 30, 31, 32, I think Triple G was really a great middleweight. The resume just is a little lacking, Some people, yeah, the Andre Ward, yeah. I mean, he did open his big mouth and say 154, 168, I fight anybody. And then everyone said, okay, what about Andre Ward at 68? And then he said, him and his people said, okay, come on, guys. It's a figure of speech. What do you want from us? We're 5'10". We're not really going to move up and fight big Andre Ward and take an L. So people called him on that. But Andre Ward said he would come down to 160 for Mayweather. I don't recall that. That sounds like fake news, my friend. I don't recall that. Sean Key says Juan Manuel Marquez beats up Lomachenko for 12 rounds. Best Mexican fighter outside of Canelo to me. I love Salvador Sanchez. I agree. I got Marquez beating Lomachenko at 130. Would have been a great fight. But yeah, I think so. I think Marquez, Mayweather, and Pacquiao would have won at 130. All right, main event time is coming up. Teofimo Lopez, already ranked number 1 by the WBO for Josh Taylor's title. Sandor Martin, ranked number 5. Both guy, a 1-inch height advantage for Lopez, but a half-inch reach advantage for Sandor Martin. On the tail of the tape, it says Teo's taller, but at the face-offs, it didn't look like he was taller. Ward was on the juice? You really think so, Weedy Gonzalez? I don't think. Nothing about him ever stuck out to me as anything but natural. From his physique to his punching power. He didn't fight with a crazy pace like when we were all suspicious of Pacquiao. He doesn't have this kind of physique and increase in punching power as he moves up in weight classes like Canelo Alvarez. He doesn't have the IV controversy surrounding the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight like Floyd. Dre always struck me as very much a natural fighter. So why do you say that, Weedy? Salvador Sanchez was robbed of his greatness. You can't talk Sanchez with casual. Yeah, Salvador Sanchez, even while being robbed of greatness at 23, was great. Beating Azuma Nelson, first ballot Hall of Famer. Beating Wilfredo Gomez, first ballot Hall of Famer. Salvador Sanchez at 23 had a better resume by far than any of these young guys. Teofimo, Tank, Ryan, Devin, even. He had by far a better resume at the time of his death at 23 than they do. So Salvador Sanchez, even though he's taken from us too soon, he still did enough to be considered an all-time great in the short time he was there. Ward was never on the... Yeah, I agree with you, Rodney. I agree. TG Boogie, where do you watch the fight? I'm watching on ESPN Plus, the app. I know it is live on ESPN. I gotta take this headphone off my ear for a second. That shit is killing my ear. Y'all just gonna gas Loma into the Hall of Fame. Dion Harris. Look, Dion. He gets in. 3-division champion. He does have accomplishments to his name that no other fighter can say. Quickest to a world title in 2 divisions. It's in the 4-belt era. Yeah, it was the WBO belt, but still. And then the wins over Gary Russell, Nicholas Walters, Linares, Guillermo Rigondeaux, who was undefeated at the time. Yeah, he was little, but everyone begged Loma to take the fight, and he took it and beat him. But Dion, there's guys like Michael Moore, who aren't in the Hall of Fame yet, that should be in the Hall of Fame. Guys like Marlon Starling should definitely be considered for the Hall of Fame. Fernando Vargas, Diego Chico Corrales. So there's a number of guys that you could definitely argue are more deserving than Loma who aren't in the Hall of Fame. But I'm being realistic with you, my man. I know the writers are going to vote him in. And in today's era, that's okay. Fighters aren't accomplishing quite as much as fighters did 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years ago. So the bar goes down a little bit. Tim Bradley in today's era definitely deserved to get in the Hall of Fame. He beat Juan Manuel Marquez after Marquez knocked out Pacquiao. But back in the day, it'd have been tougher to... Antonio Tarver knocked out Roy Jones with one punch, and he's still not in the Hall of Fame. So back then, it was tougher to get in. It's getting easier because they're getting judged according to their era. But Loma's getting in. That is a reality of the fact. Michael Moore should be in if he's in. Probably Antonio Tarver. I mean, Antonio Tarver should be in. He knocked out Roy Jones when Roy Jones was untouchable. So, oh, you're good, Dion. You don't got to apologize at all. You don't got to apologize at all, man. I appreciate you saying that. You're speaking your mind. You're speaking what a lot of people are feeling about Loma. But I'm happy to try to kind of clear it up. And play the middle ground, be fair about it on all sides, and not just for the sake of being in the middle, like, being logical with it. Tarver did test positive for steroid. That's true. But my man, Tarver's win over Roy, I mean, if you're being smart, you could say, yeah, but we know Roy was a little weight drained. We saw in the first fight that wasn't really Superman like it was in 98, 97, and 03 against... But still, man, Roy was the guy, man. And he knocked him out cold with one shot, one punch knockout. Maybe Tarver should be in the Hall of Fame anyway. He didn't test positive that night. They let James Toney in, as they better have put James Toney in. It's travesty if they didn't put him in, but James tests positive, and I know James accomplished more than Tarver, but he didn't beat Roy. Nah, Dre wasn't on juice. Corrales was great. Diego Corrales should be in the Hall of Fame. Corrales should be in the Hall of Fame. Diego Chico Corrales should be in the Hall of Fame. For sure. Beat Robert Garcia, who's a great trainer now. Robert was undefeated IBF champion. Beat Joel Casamayor, another guy you could definitely argue should make the Hall of Fame. Beat Joel Casamayor. Beat Acelino Popo Freitas, who was a superstar in Brazil and was undefeated and a knockout artist. And Chico was an underdog, and he whooped him. And then he beat one of the all-time underrated lightweights in Jose Luis Castillo, beat him in what most people consider the greatest fight of the new millennium. How is Diego Corrales not in the Hall of Fame? You know, that's crazy. His wife actually helps run the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. Now they're giving Tim Bradley some love on the telecast for getting in the Hall of Fame. Tim Bradley, man, beat Lamont Peterson, beat Kendall Holt, beat Nate. Oh, no, he had a no contest with Nate Campbell. Beat Devin Alexander, beat a very, very, very old Joel Casamayor, beat Juan Manuel Marquez when everyone thought he was going to get knocked out, won a fight of the year in 2013, and is probably the best analyst in boxing today, alongside Andre Ward. I feel like Dre's been a little more quiet over the last 12 months. And Tim certainly hasn't been, but Dre every bit as sharp as Tim, but Tim's really been vocal, and to me is the best professor in the game right now. He gets a lot of hate his way, and it's like, don't you want the guy to be honest and don't you want him to not hold back any punches and say what he would say in his living room on the telecast? And didn't he earn the right going through the wars he did to speak to doesn't he, like Shaq says on Inside the NBA, have G14 certification? So Costa in the Hall of Fame. Ryan's little brother, an update. An update from overseas on FightHype. Ryan Garcia's little brother, Sugar Rush Sean Garcia, has lost on the undercard of the Manny Pacquiao exhibition. We'll have more later. That Corrales-Castillo match would never be allowed to continue today. Yeah, you're probably right. Better fucking get inside on him now, like Joe Goosen said. And to your point, not only would they never let that fight happen today, does any trainer in today respond the way Joe Goosen did in that moment? Wouldn't they all say, Ty, hold up, be smart, get through the round? He said, you better fucking get inside on him right now. That classic. I remember watching that fight live on TV as it happened, and I got emotional when, Corrales raised his hand after the stop. Winky Wright and James Toney are going nuts ringside. They were loving it, and he's like, it's for my kids, it's for my kids. And you see his 4 children tatted on his back. That's the stuff that made me do what I do now, makes me cover boxing. Teofimo's next. Yes, sir. Teofimo is next. Chris Cyborg getting out the ring. Looks like she won her fight down there in Omaha. So main events are coming up from Omaha and from Madison Square Garden. Terrence Bud Crawford, Teofimo Lopez. Poor Garcia brother. Guy always sucked. Rodney, he like his brother, he's blessed with some hand speed, but no real desire and ambition for the sport. Not a kid who loved fighting. Period. Not a kid who he was a good amateur. Actually fought Bam Rodriguez in the amateurs, did Sean Garcia. Sean Garcia is a competent boxer with fast hands, just no desire and heart for the sport. He told me earlier this year in March he was retired and that he was only going to be a trainer. But so yeah, not surprised he got knocked off, but actually the kid has some talent and had a decent amateur record, but yeah, he doesn't have that desire and heart for the sport. Margarito is Hall of Fame? Hell no. Margarito, though, when I went back and watched like the first Kermit Cintron fight, when you go back and watch that Martinez fight, you couldn't find tape of that Sergio Martinez Antonio Margarito fight for years on the internet. And then Top Rank uploaded it earlier this year. Margarito was a beast, man. He was a beast. Whether cement wear those gloves or not. I know that chin was 100% natural. Now, Margarito was a beast, man, and still give him credit for the heart he had. But yeah, he total scumbag piece of shit move with the cement and the gloves. But God worked karma out beautifully. Shane Mosley was his karma, and then Manny Pacquiao, and then Miguel Cotto. So I think he got his just desserts for what he did in the ring. I think we can still appreciate that he was a good welterweight. Was the Tijuana Tornado. He is a cheater, yes. Which fight do I think is better to watch? If I could only watch one fight, if I'm being honest, I'd watch Terrence. Because he's Terrence. Because he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. because even though he's fighting an overmatched opponent that none of us wanted to see, anytime one of the surefire best in the business, the best practitioners in the business is going to go to work, if you love boxing and you're a purist, you're going to want to see him go to work. And so Crawford. But this is the better fight. Teofimo. Okay, here we go. Sandor Martin coming to the ring from Barcelona, España. 13 knockouts and 40 wins. Not a puncher, a mover. A very good lateral movement. He retired Mikey Garcia. We're talking Hall of Fame. I guess Mikey's a borderline Hall of Famer too, 4-division champ. And he sent Mikey Garcia into retirement. Parlayed that into this opportunity on ESPN. He wins this fight, and he's headed towards a Regis Prograis showdown for the WBC title. Interestingly, though, signs are now pointing towards Teofimo, if he wins this fight, even though this is a WBC eliminator that would make Lopez the mandatory for Regis's title. A lot of indicators now. You look at the ESPN graphic where they showed that Lopez is ranked number 1 by the WBO and not mentioning the WBC. And that tells you Top Rank's plans might be to angle Lopez for Taylor and not Regis Prograis. Maybe Regis Prograis can head over to PBC, fight Tank Davis for the WBC belt at 140. Maybe fight Gary Antoine Russell for the 140-pound. Nothing set in stone yet. Teo, dope robe. Sandor Martin already in the ring. Here comes Teofimo now, set to enter the ring. And Teo, some cool colors. Little pink trim and a really pretty kind of teal, turquoise kind of blue. His father coming out with the boombox, like out of Do the Right Thing, Radio Raheem with the boombox. His father, actually, Teo Sr., was a B-boy. There's videos of him B-boying. Guy could break dance. He loved that 1980s hip-hop growing up in Brooklyn, New York. My hometown as well. Shout out Brooklyn. But Teo, from Brooklyn originally, but really more of a Florida boy. And yeah, more of a Florida boy. Really cut his teeth as an amateur in the Davy Pals down there in Florida, in South Florida. Let me turn my headphones up. What song does it come out to? Many Men from 50 Cent. Always a classic. Let me get clapped, lose your legs. Gun on my waist, chip on my shoulder. Oh, wow. Shakur Stevenson is at the Terrence Crawford fight alongside Regis Prograis. Interesting. Step on me, Lord, I don't cry no more. Yeah, Many Men, definitely a classic. Maybe arguably 50's best song. That's his Tupac song. That was like the song that wasn't just for the radio. It was heartfelt. He put his heart on the track. It was real. And he mentions Tupac in the song, right? I'm not going to spell it out for you motherfuckers all the time. Are you illiterate? You can't read between the lines. Talking about how King Tut and those New York guys set up Tupac. Anyways, Teofimo in the ring now. The former lightweight king. Knocked off in a huge upset last year. Came back in his first fight against Pedro Campa just a couple months ago in August. After round 2 or 3, caught fire, started slipping and doing beautiful, flashy counter punching with power. And here he goes tonight against Sandor Martin, not against a guy like Pedro Campa, who's made to order, who just came forward and let Teo counterpunch. He's up against a guy who's smart, who likes to move. Let's see if Teo is going to look as hot on the front foot cutting distance as he did countering and fighting off his back foot. So that's family for Bud, says Joshua and Richardson. Absolutely. Yep. And for those of you on the Terrence Crawford stream, as soon as it's main event time in Omaha, we will go directly to the round by round for Terrence Bud Crawford against David Avanesian. But for now, it's main event time in New York City in Madison Square Garden. Teofimo Lopez, Sandor Martin. Sandor Martin already moving in the corner, already putting his back against the ropes, moving his head, looking already prepared to fight a defensive fight like he did against Mikey Garcia. Certainly, at 13 knockouts and 40 wins, he can't trade and exchange punches with Teofimo Lopez, who, even though took a lot of punches to get Campa out of there in his first fight at 140, he's still a puncher. I don't know if he's going to be the puncher at 140 that he was at 135 facing bigger men, but Lopez still a dangerous puncher. Someone said Teo's dad, Teofimo's dad, is his downfall. Well, I mean, that's also the man who got him there. That's also the man who knew his son would beat Lomachenko. Let's give his dad a chance. His dad got him to the top, and then he certainly helped his downfall. But let's let the old man and Teo take another run at it here at 140. They win tonight, and the next fight will be for world title. Will it Regis Prograis or Josh Taylor? We'll see. It's starting to look like it'll be Taylor. But Teo is one fight away from the opportunity at full redemption for a big title fight at 140, that if he could win this fight and then win that fight, the bad taste of Kambosos will be completely gone. And he'll have fully reestablished himself as one of the best young fighters in boxing. But he's got to get past a smart guy who's coming in with some swag after retiring Mikey Garcia, coming in with some momentum and confidence in Sandor Martin, and who hasn't backed down from Teofimo all week at Fight Week in New York. He's been jawing back and forth with him. Lopez, all 6 wins at Madison Square Garden come by knockout. 6 wins, 6 knockouts, but he did lose to George Kambosos. Oh, fights are going to overlap. Wow. Bud is set to come out soon, too. Well, we're going to do double duty. We are going to call 2 fights at once. I'm going to call the Bud fight here and Teofimo fight here. Or maybe over. Yeah. You guys, I'm seriously. All right, Lopez getting his introduction. Bass Oman. Okay, never mind. Loma is an ESPN champion. Joshua Richardson. He's actually a world champion because, you know, even once he got to lightweight, he even didn't just get the WBO, the honorary WBO top rank belt. He did get the WBA and the WBC. So he's definitely been a world champion. Come on. No, you can't. Joshua Richardson, you can never wash away the Kambosos. No, you can't wash it away. It's on the record forever. But you could definitely damn sure turn the page and still succeed and accomplish big things. And that's on the table for him at 140. Got to get past Martin. And then true redemption awaits in a title fight at 140. But first, he's going to have to beat this guy, Sandor Martin, who isn't coming in looking to lay down. Here at the face-off center ring, much more cuts, from the physique of Teofimo Lopez. You could just tell he's blessed with more athleticism, more of that, thoroughbred athletic body than Sandor Martin. No 6-pack for Sandor Martin. Ripped up physique as always from Teofimo Lopez. Sandor Martin with a good sweat built up, though, not coming into round 1 cold. And we're set to start here from Madison Square Garden. Thank you guys, as always, for joining us here on Fight Hype. Round 1, Teofimo versus Sandor Martin. And let's see if Teofimo will have to cut the distance tonight and fight on the front foot more than he likes. Sandor Martin in that southpaw stance starts with a nice jab over the top of Teo's jab. Teo falling short with a right hand to the body to start. Straight right hand to the body. Here they are starting in the center of the ring. Martin in that southpaw stance, making Teo fall short with a straight right hand to the body again. Again, let's see how Teo deals with having to cut distance. Teo on the front foot, double jab, right hand to the body, falling short with his punches early. Teo staying on the front foot, more locked in on the front foot than he was for Kambosos. Not coming in reckless like he did, but left hand still low. Teo pawing with the jab, Martin stepping off to his left. Now Teo jabs to the body. Martin stepping over to his left, keeping his hands relatively high. Now Martin lowers that lead hand a little bit and is trying to feint Lopez out of position. Lopez short with a right hand, falling short. Now Martin lets go of his first big left hand, and Lopez takes a half step back to make him fall short. Center of the ring, both guys. Lopez a little more on the front foot. Now Lopez jumps in with a leaping left hook and misses just short and misses a right hand behind him. Martin shooting a jab to the body. Teo catching it on the gloves. Halfway through the first. Now a right hand lands to the body for Teo. He touched with the jab a little bit, and that got him the range he needed to land the jab. Now a straight left to the body by Sandor, but almost countered by a left hook by Teo. Teo coming forward, lands a left hook. He threw a big right hand and it missed, but it set up the left hook behind it. Little over a minute left. Now Teo doubling up the jab. Got it to the body, then shoots it to the head, but Martin dipping out of the way of it and dipping out of the right hand as well. Now Martin shoots a right hook to the body. Teo catching it on the elbow. Teo inching forward with his hands low. Gets away with it with his athletic gifts. Oh, nice right uppercut. Oh, no, it was a headbutt. Martin, orthodox versus southpaw. Clash of heads, but no blood showing there. Teo just off with a short right uppercut there in that exchange. Teo, another leaping left hook, doing that Florida Roy Jones leaping left hook, just off with it. Martin making a miss. Still don't love how Teo comes in with his hands low, but Martin hasn't made him pay for it just yet. Martin near the ropes. Good right hand to the body lands for Teofimo. Martin tying up on the ropes. Teo being smart, looking to start to the body against the slick guy, not headhunting early, and is looking to shoot the right hand to the body. That was his best punch in round 1. 5 seconds left. Teo on his way to winning this round. Now some blood coming from Sandor Martin. Maybe that was from the headbutt after all. Sandor Martin, some blood around the right eye and the bridge of his nose. 10-9 Teofimo Lopez. Not very accurate, not really able to land anything up top, but he was falling short with that right hand to the body. Last minute, got it in a couple times. So 10-9 Lopez. So 10-9 Lopez. Here comes David Avanesian down in Omaha getting into the ring. David Avanesian, the Armenian Russian, is in the ring now in Omaha. Terrence Bud Crawford set to enter it right after him. And we will call both fights. Yes, we will. Crawford fight will take precedent. Sandor is shook a little, said Pat G. Yeah, well, it's not shook. We got to be patient with a strong young bull like Lopez. You got to be patient early. And that's what Sandor is doing. It's a long 12-round fight. Here's the replay of the headbutt. Ooh, right on the bridge of the nose. Tough, nasty headbutt for Sandor Martin. Straight right hand to the body starts for Teo. Teo doing a good job of just touching with the jab to get his distance first before he shoots that right. Oh, Teo goes down on a check right hook. Teo reaching in with a right hand to the body. He's not hurt. More of a flash shot, but a check right hook knocks Teofimo down. He's not as hot on the front foot because he fights with his hands low, and he's more susceptible to be caught coming forward when he tries to cut that distance like Kambosos did with his right hand. This time it's a check right hook. Lopez down in round 2 for the 3rd time in his career. He was dropped in his professional debut. He was dropped against Kambosos, and now he's dropped in round 2 by a check right hook by Sandor Martin. More of a flash knockdown, but Teo lunging in with that right hand to the body, ate the shot, and it did enough to get him floored. Teo coming with the double jab, but again, it's not Teo. His style just got checked with the right hook again. That he comes in with that left hand too low. It's one thing to fight in the shoulder roll off the back foot, but it's a little different trying to come forward, keeping that left hand just so low for Lopez. Pick your hand. You're tempted to say, pick your hands up a little bit when you fight on the front foot. You could drop them off the back foot countering. Lopez still coming forward, though, not dismayed. Gets Martin on the ropes, digs to the body, but Martin slick up top, not getting hit with anything up top. Halfway through the 2nd round. Terrence Crawford, meanwhile, in the ring in Omaha, set for his introduction. Teo jabbing to the body, still coming forward, still with the left hand too low. I mean, there's just no defense for that check hook, Teo. When you step in with that right hand to the body, it's wide open. You're asking for it. Got to be a little more fundamentally sound, and that's never been Teo's game. He's not a fundamentally sound guy. He's a flashy, talented fighter that can do things other fighters can't do. But, straight left hand lands for Sandor Martin, but Teo, good hand speed, replies with 2 or 3 shots to get off well back. Teo, not dismayed by the knockdown, staying forward, shooting the up jab off that low left hand, still trying to reach with that right hand to the body, but that's how he got countered. Martin bleeding badly from the headbutt. Teo still on the front foot, trying to keep his composure and his poise, not let this fight get away from him like Kambosos did. Martin, though, a little weary between that cut has got Martin a little rattled, but he's fighting through it. Good jab to the body by Teo. Martin trying to counter him coming in. Martin just playing it smart, knows he's already got this round one. Last 10 seconds. Teo jumping in with a left hook and a right hand, missing everything, and Martin smiles and laughs at him to end round two. 19-18. Sandor Martin, because of the 2-point round, because of the knockdown. Lopez is behind a point heading into the third. Tough break for the kid. But it's a technical error, guys. Like I told you before the fight, love Lopez when a guy's coming to him, like Lomachenko, like Comey, like Pedro Campa. That's when keeping the left hand low and shooting off counters, that all works. But coming forward, trying to cut distance, keeping your hands that low, that's dangerous. You know, Floyd Mayweather, the best that ever did it with the shoulder roll. When he fought Conor McGregor or Zab Judah and he looked to cut distance, he picked the hands up. I don't know about fighting out of that stance, trying to cut distance for Lopez. It's what's getting him caught. So we'll see. We shall see. Weedy Gonzalez, he did get dropped, but more of a flash knockdown, more of a coming in with your hands low and getting checked by a hook more than a thudding shot hurting you or stunning you. So Lopez is down 19-18. Here we go in round three. I'm about to switch over soon to the action in Omaha. Again, it was a grazing check right hook that sent Lopez right around the equilibrium, right around the temple. Teo still coming forward, but with that left hand low, still looking for the same setup that got him dropped. An up jab from that low left hand and shooting a straight right hand to the body. That's the same setup that got him dropped. You might want to mix it up a little bit here. Teo now picks the hands up a little bit, steps forward, but the left hand goes low. Now he picks up the hands again, jabs out of it. Double jab for Teo, but he gets countered by the check right hook again. It's going to be there all night, Teo, if you keep coming in like that. Good touch jab to the body by Sandor Martin. Now a straight left down the pipe by Martin. Teo got the glove up to block it, but he's in a tough fight right now. Tough 10-rounder. Teo just not planting his feet, not truly, getting good balance. He's jumping in with shots, literally jumping in with shots. Good straight left hand down the pipe by Sandor Martin, knocked Teo's head up, and Teo not able to land the counter punches in response. Martin with better timing than Lopez. He's not more athletic. He's not more gifted than Lopez, but better timing than him right now. Martin fighting a very conservative and intelligent and efficient fight. Winning round three based off the strength of that perfectly placed straight left hand right now. Now good left hook by Lopez. Lopez actually baited the southpaw jab and threw a nice hook over the top of it. Good left hook by Teo. Teo trying to counter, coming forward now, trying to catch the jab and shoot something off. Now Teo using the up jab. David Avanesian looking kind of goofy in the stare down there, almost like with a grin on his face. I don't think that grin's going to be there much longer, David. Last minute in round three, and I'm about to switch over to Omaha, Nebraska for Terrence Bud Crawford. But Lopez was pop-shotted earlier here in the third. All right, round one in Omaha of Terrence Bud Crawford versus David Avanesian. Crawford, as always, starting in the orthodox stance, starting with a good jab out of the orthodox stance. Terrence is a slow starter normally, and usually by the end of the second or the third round, he switches southpaw, and that's when the real Bud Crawford comes alive. So round one, Terrence starting with the jab in the orthodox stance, a little more active with the jab than we're used to seeing in round one. Good jab to the body by Terrence. Avanesian coming in orthodox, hands up, dipping, bending his waist a little bit, but now he tries to shoot an overhand right over the top of Terrence's jab. Avanesian coming in forward, pretty much in a straight line though. Terrence just measuring in the orthodox stance with his jab to start. Terrence stepping off to his left, keeping the high guard. Now Terrence sneaks in a little left uppercut, gets back to the double jab. Another jab by Terrence. Avanesian just coming in forward with a high guard, nothing special. Straight up and down, no special effects, as Floyd Mayweather used to say. Nice jab by Terrence Crawford. Now a good jab by David Avanesian actually gets in to get him started. Center of the ring, Crawford very busy with that jab. Oh, good right hand lands for David Avanesian. he kind of looped it a little bit over the top, stepped inside, and he caught Crawford there with a right hand. That was a good right hand by David Avanesian in round one. Halfway through the first round, Crawford hit with that right hand after getting off early behind the jab. Avanesian closing the distance, putting the pressure on already after that right hand. Crawford's back along the ropes. Avanesian throws a right hand to the body. Now Crawford with a nice jab to the stomach. Crawford still in the orthodox stance, getting backed up. Avanesian taking the fight to Terrence. Minute left in the open. Now Terrence switches southpaw for the first time and measures with the lead hand. But the right hand has been a problem for Terrence. He's been getting hit with right hands more and more over the last couple of years. Nice. The southpaw jab sets up a sweeping left hand right hook combination for Terrence. Avanesian gets in a left hook as Terrence looks to shoot a left hand to the body in the southpaw stance. Terrence switching southpaw sooner than normal. Already in the southpaw stance here in round one. Terrence measuring behind the jab, taking half steps back. Avanesian getting in some looping right hands again, though, on Terrence Crawford. Couple of right hands landing early for Avanesian, looping it, not shooting it down the center. Avanesian crowding Terrence, looking to cut distance. Terrence pawing with the jab, shoots a straight left to the body. Terrence pawing with the jab up top against the high guard of David Avanesian. Avanesian cutting the distance well, though. Last 10 seconds, Avanesian stepping in, trying to give half of his body, get his head off the line, and throw a couple of looping right hands. Now a looping left hook by Avanesian, and that's it for round one. Terrence dictated with his jab. Don't get me wrong, he dictated with his jab, but I'm going to give round one to David Avanesian based on the overhand rights. I'm going to score the right-hand power shots of David Avanesian. I'm going to give him more credit for the right-hand power shots than Crawford dictating off of the jab. 10-9 David Avanesian. Terrence Crawford usually loses the first two rounds, no matter who he's fighting, whether it's Hank Lundy, whether it's Victor Postal. Terrence often loses the first two rounds. He lost the first two rounds to Kell Brook, I believe. So nothing crazy there, but Bud did switch southpaw sooner than we're used to. Bud usually will fight the whole first round orthodox, sometimes the whole second round orthodox, and then switch southpaw. Quickly in New York, Teo slipping some shots. Minute left in the fourth round. Teo staying on that front foot. But not... Oh, good jab by Sandor Martin. Good southpaw jab by Sandor Martin as Teo's coming in still with those hands down. All right, back here we go to Omaha. Back to the Crawford fight. Crawford starting round two in the southpaw stance, trying to create a little distance between Avanesian, who's coming in with the high guard, bending his knees at times, shifting his weight to his left to bend his head to his left, and then throws the right hand, looping right hand when he bends his head to the left in the high guard. And that's Avanesian's game right now. Try to crowd Terrence Crawford, close the distance, keep his guard high, and then dip over to his left and simultaneously throw a looping right hand while doing it. Terrence sticking the jab in, but not accurate with it, not splitting the guard, just touching, and finding where Avanesian is with his range. Now a good left uppercut to the body, followed by a right hook to the body. Beautiful two-place body shots by Terrence Crawford off the southpaw jab. Terrence doing those little half steps back off the southpaw jab. Another double jab. Now he's touching with the lead left, and Avanesian trying to come in with his right hand when Terrence touches with his left, but Terrence not getting touched with it like he did in round one so far. Terrence spinning off to the side. Nice right hook to the body by Terrence Crawford. Terrence definitely a guy who gets better and better as the fight goes on. Touch double jab by Crawford. Little steps back. Crawford not shooting a lot of these shots with power. He's touching early on for the most part. Touching with the jab, touching with the lead. Now he sticks in a straight left to the body. Avanesian trying to get in his right hand, but Crawford's starting to figure out that angle now and not getting hit with it as much here in the second. Double jab from Crawford. Another jab from Crawford. Avanesian, good high guard, but now Crawford sticks it to the pit of the stomach off the double jab. Avanesian, now Crawford starting to parry and get away from that sweeping right hand. Crawford figuring out that angle, that move by Avanesian in round two, starting to take it away from him. Crawford trying to work his levels with his jab, pinned along the ropes. Crawford not fully committing to these shots right now. Still touching and wants to have his defense. Right now, a nice left hand from Avanesian, who switches southpaw with Crawford along the ropes. He gets in a straight left hand against Terrence. Terrence staying in the southpaw, keeps measuring off the jab. Avanesian stepping in with 2 close shots and then a headbutt. 30 seconds left in the second. Better round for Terrence Crawford. Crawford winning this round. Not super impressive yet, though, by Bud Crawford. Crawford probing with that lead hand, looking to set up power shots in between Avanesian's punches, starting to get more accurate now as the round progresses. Accurate jab to the body off the jab to the head for Crawford. Avanesian getting rough with some sweeping right hands in the last 10 seconds. Avanesian trying to step in with those right hands. Bud stepping out of there. And that's a round for Bud Crawford. 1 round apiece. Crawford won the second. Avanesian won the first. Crawford starting to figure out that little move that Avanesian does, trying to dip his body weight to the left and then throw the looping right hand. Crawford saw it coming, made a couple adjustments from it. Avanesian did switch southpaw and landed a left hand out of the southpaw stance at one moment. But outside of that, Crawford was beginning to peck away with behind the jab, beginning to prod with some body shots, and began to get more and more accurate as that second round went on. So 1 round apiece. Over in New York, more of the same. Lopez, obviously can't score that fight because I'm calling Crawford, but Lopez, like I said, not as hot when he has to cut that distance, not as accurate. Lopez, he's just better when you get a guy who's aggressive coming to him, and he could be the counterpuncher. I don't know when nice check right hook there by Sandor Martin, but I don't know if Martin's going to do enough to get the judges to give him some of these rounds in essentially Teo's backyard. All right, back to Omaha. Round 3. Crawford's still not really comfortable yet in there. Still, getting put on his heels a little bit by the pressure of David Avanesian. Still looking his age and showing the inactivity early on for Crawford. Ooh, just off with a beautiful right uppercut, though. There was Crawford. Now Crawford touching with the jab and the left. Oh, nice right hook to the body by Crawford, but he actually ate a counter left hook up top by Avanesian. Avanesian shooting in short body shots in up close now. Crawford trying to tag him with a sweeping left hand coming in out of the southpaw stance. Crawford backed into the corner. Slipping well, fighting off the jab, still in the corner. Avanesian trying to get to the body. Now he dips in a nice left hand to the body. Hooking, throwing a nice left hook out of the southpaw stance to the body for Avanesian. Crawford has been put on his heels to start tonight. Yeah, he's establishing distance with his jab, but he's not super comfortable in doing it just yet. Double, triple, 4 jabs by Terrence, but not a shotgun jab, not committing to it. Now Terrence firing off a sweeping left hand, right hook, straight left hand off the jab now. Good comment. Nice jab to the body by Crawford. Avanesian getting his hands up, but Crawford starting to split the guard with those setups off the jab. Oh, nice job by Crawford. Crawford with a jab and then got away from the hook and then checked with the southpaw right hook and then stuck a left hand to the body out of the corner. Beautiful fighting off the corner. Avanesian's face starting to get marked up. Round 3 is typically where Bud starts to catch fire. Now Bud making Avanesian fall. Bud looking a little more comfortable now. Dropping that right hand a little bit. Fighting out of the shoulder roll. Double jab. Stepping off to his right. The legs are starting to come alive a little bit. Nice jab to the body by Crawford. Minute left in the round. Stepping off to the right. Those legs aren't what they were at 140 pounds. His legs have aged, Terrence Bud Crawford. But starting to catch rhythm with him now. Beautiful job by Crawford. Touch with a double jab, sweeping left hand up top, and it made Avanesian pick his hands up, and it set up a beautiful sweeping left hook to the body for Terrence Crawford. Crawford stepping off to his left now. Legs are starting to look better. Avanesian starting to be in no man's land and kept on the outside. Eats a tough jab, getting a little frustrated. Right hook to the body now for Crawford. Crawford touching with the jab. Establishing distance better and better. Avanesian missing with a right hand, hitting nothing but air. Then Terrence gets him into the clinch. Good third round for Terrence. He started to lose. And that's the pattern of Terrence Crawford. He always starts to really, really become himself in the third round. And that's what I started to see. He started to get comfortable there. And Avanesian's face started to redden up, and the punches began to split the guards. Crawford beginning to do beautiful. Crawford's great at, using the second and third punch to set up the third or fourth shot. Touch with the jab, sweeping left hand to make you pick your hand up, and then boom, perfect right hook to the body. Or, touch, jab, straight left hand, right hook up top, all just to keep your hands up top, and then finishes with a right hook to the body like he did against Jose Benavidez against the ropes. So Crawford's starting to do Crawford-like things in round 3. 2 rounds to 1. Avanesian won that first round with a few of those looping right hands. I gave Crawford 2 and 3 decisively. Back in New York, though, Teo, man, it looks like he's just having a tough fight. Can't get the accuracy going against this slick Spaniard. Such a frustrating guy to fight as Sandor Martin. So frustrating, Mikey said, I don't even want to do this sport anymore. All right, back to Omaha, Nebraska. Crawford in round 4, pelting Avanesian with the jab, working the jab 3 or 4 times out of the southpaw stance. And he's been so accurate with the jab to the body. Sometimes he'll 2-3 up top and then boom, really shotgun it to the pit of the stomach. Avanesian closing range actually lands a nice jab, and Crawford forced to tie up so that he's not cornered. Ties up, gets back to the center of the ring. Crawford pawing with the jab, taking half steps back, pause with the lead left, shoots a right hook, and then steps off the side beautifully, pivots out to his right beautifully to get away from the left hook. Now a nice right uppercut set up off a touch left hand, left uppercut inside, straight left hand inside for Crawford, and then a jab. Straight right hand lands for David Avanesian a little bit. Crawford looking comfortable now, is warmed up. Those legs still, the way he steps off to the side and pivots off to the side, though, he looks more like an old man than when he was young and had such vitality and bounce and life in his legs. Nice little left hook gets in for Avanesian on the inside as he steps in. Now Avanesian stepping in as a southpaw, lands a jab, gets into left to the body. Crawford smiling at that as if to say, I like that. Nice. Now Crawford just off with a right hook as Avanesian tried to open up with a right uppercut. Avanesian catching the right hook on his left glove, but Crawford sensing counterpunch and straight left lands for Crawford through the guard of Avanesian. Avanesian in the phone booth where he wants to be, but Crawford good defensively, shoots off a left uppercut. Avanesian catching it in the center of the ring in close range now. Avanesian missing that straight right hand against the southpaw Crawford. Center of the ring, Crawford lowering that lead hand a little bit, but keeping the left hand by his chin. Jabbing from the up jab, jabbing from the hip is Crawford. Nice right hand from Crawford as he takes a step back. Avanesian trying to come forward. It was kind of a right jab, but with power on it. But now Avanesian with a good right uppercut and just a good right hand to the body a minute ago for Avanesian. Now a left hand to the body. Crawford making him miss the left uppercut up top. Crawford sticks in the left uppercut. And now Crawford sets up a right hook around the guard off the left uppercut. Avanesian coming back with a sweeping right hand. Avanesian coming back to the body. Beautiful 2-piece to the body by Crawford, though. Beautiful. I love Crawford's right hook to the body. Now a left uppercut. 2 left uppercuts inside for Crawford. 20 seconds left. Fight heating up. Crawford double jab. Sticking it into Avanesian. Finishing up with a really hard straight left to the body. Crawford, happy to exchange, is great in the exchange. 2 hard body shots by Crawford. Right uppercut on the inside by Crawford. Swimming without getting wet. Beginning to bust up Avanesian. Avanesian with a straight left to finish, but that was all Crawford in that exchange. Crawford, one of the best, maybe the best fighter in boxing in the exchanges, punctuating the exchanges. When both fighters get to the second and third and fourth layer of their punches, Crawford so good at that. That's his bread and butter. And he began to slice and dice Avanesian a little bit, punching through the guard with left uppercuts, punching around the guard with the right hook, using setup shots to set up the third and fourth shot, and beautiful body work by Terrence Crawford in this fight. Now, in that last round, some beautiful right hooks to the body. Sometimes he would work his levels with his combination and clean up with a hard straight left to the body. So good work by Bud Crawford. Some good work by Avanesian, who actually got in a straight left at the bell, too, on that replay out of the southpaw stance. Avanesian switched a few times in this fight. He's come tough. Damn, Teo got dropped again. Oh, no. All right, back to Crawford. In New York, Teo is having might be another miserable night, just fighting in a bad style, trying to come forward with his hands so low like that. But back to Terence Crawford, straight left to the body by Terence Crawford. Here in round 5, Crawford has began to invest in that body really well. And he's pulling away, being tall. Oh, nice straight left again to the body. Crawford beginning to have a little bit of target practice. The jab, touches with the left, right hook, but Avanesian got away from it. Nice straight right hand down the pipe by Avanesian. Crawford fighting off the ropes, though, comfortably. If you're an Errol Spence fan, you feel like you like what you're seeing. You feel like your guy can beat this guy that's in the ring tonight. Crawford touching off with the jab, stepping back. Avanesian coming back with his own jab in the southpaw stance, but getting out jab 3 or 4 or 5 to 1 in no man's land at range with the longer, faster Terence Crawford. Crawford is starting to look his age, though, folks. Good jab by Crawford, stepping off with that grin, smiling at him. Still measuring with the jab. Now straight left to the body off a touched left hand up top. Crawford definitely mixing the force on his shots. Touch, bam, touch, bam, bam, stuff like that. All coming off the jab. Now there's 2 stiff jab. Crawford consistently fighting off the back foot here. Half steps back off the jab, off the southpaw jab. Looking for the openings behind those little half steps backwards in the southpaw jab. Letting Avanesian come towards him and trying to pick him off coming forward. Avanesian, though, with a decent high guard tonight and a good ability to smother and close distance and to switch stances a little bit. Nice little right hook on the inside for Avanesian. Crawford with a beautiful right hook to the body back. Left hand to the body and another right hook to the body. These are the kind of body shots that knocked out Julius Ndongo. Now a sweeping left hand in close lands for Crawford. Crawford happy to let Avanesian shoot off punches and stay in the pocket. Good defense in the pocket here by Crawford. Crawford staying in the phone booth in the center of the ring. Touch, jab. Beautiful right uppercut in close by Crawford. Touch with the jab and shot the right uppercut. Now he prods with the lead hand, shoots a straight left to the body, kind of like Errol Spence does. Oh, beautiful right hook to the body again for Crawford. Set it up off the right hook to the head. Nice right uppercut by David Avanesian. Right uppercut right back by Terence Crawford. Crawford with a sweeping left hand and then a left uppercut in the inside. Oh, straight right hand for David Avanesian. He's tough. He's still letting his hands go. 1, 2, 3 for Crawford, but Avanesian is still in front, and that does it for that 5th round. Good action. Avanesian, a tough customer, not backing up. Walking through a lot of shots, smothering some of the shots, keeping his hands up, not just getting caught with the full brunt of the shot. He's definitely, smothering the shots at times. At times, that high guard is making it partially land, but he is getting busted up at the same time. Face is holding up well so far. No, not a lot of cuts for Avanesian, but those punches are really starting to get through the guard for Terence Crawford. It's the left uppercut through the guard. It's the beautiful body shots. He's throwing a murderous right hook to the body is Terence Crawford. Meanwhile, I got to be honest, I hate to see Teo potentially come up short against Sandor Martin. He's just such a great talent, but not fundamentally sound. He keeps getting checked by that right hook. He just can't fight with his hands it's okay to fight like that as the counterpuncher, taking half steps back, but trying to cut the distance like that for Teo, he's just got to be more fundamentally sound doing that coming forward in the future. Oh, good double jab by Sandor Martin. Damn. About to switch it back to Omaha in a minute. Now the referee in Omaha, we got to stop his doc taking a look at Crawford. I'm not sure for what. Certainly not for a cut and for anything. Maybe tape on his gloves. Yeah, it's tape on the gloves for Terence Crawford. I don't know what's going on down in Omaha now. All right. Anyways, action's about to resume. Teo just inaccurate, and unfortunately, what I said about you guys, I don't know if he's going to look as hot having a cut distance. That's just been the case tonight. I thought he'd still find a way with his talent. Obviously, I don't know the score of the fight, but if he's been dropped twice, it's going to be hard for him to get a decision in a 10-round fight. Back to Omaha. Crawford, beautiful jab to the body off the touch jabs to the head. Oh, and then a straight left to the body, right to the pit of the stomach. Right uppercut for Crawford. He is throwing a lot of jabs tonight. Very busy with the jab. Not fully committing to a lot of them. Not throwing the shotgun jab. Just touching with it constantly as this guy comes forward behind the high guard. Crawford stepping off to his right. Avanesian is still coming forward. Still putting on pressure. Still switching stances. Still in mid to very close range. Kind of proficient. Oh, good right hands in close by David Avanesian. Oh, but he eats a left hook and then a left uppercut out of the southpaw stance for Terrence Crawford. Avanesian showing a decent chin here, though. He's been stopped by guys like Mean Machine, but he hasn't been hurt yet by Terrence Crawford. But Terrence is touching with a lot of these shots. He's not sitting down and fully committing to a number of these. Beautiful right hook to the body by Terrence. Left uppercut. Beautiful short left uppercut up top by Terrence. Oh, that's beautiful, man. Short right hook to the body and then a short left uppercut right through the guard by Crawford just a moment ago. The two left uppercuts in close. Third left uppercut in close. Crawford showing a good inside game tonight. He got beat on the inside by Sean Porter despite knocking out Sean Porter. But tonight, he's doing his thing on the inside with Avanesian. Crawford a number of times has done that Errol Spence move, that little hold him with the lead southpaw hand, then boom, knife him with a straight left to the body. Crawford's done that a few times tonight. That's a move I know Errol more for than Terrence. Terrence staying, nice jab to the body off the touch jab up top. Terrence is staying right in front of Avanesian. Left uppercut lands for Terrence, and now a straight left to the body again off that Errol Spence move. Now a right hook to the body for Crawford. Crawford trying to get this guy out of here, man. He wants a stoppage. Oh, beautiful. Oh, down goes David Avanesian. He is flat out on his back. He's not going to get up. That's it. Crawford staying in phone booth. Here's what happened. Crawford was staying in phone booth range, staying with him, was busting him up. He shoots off a left uppercut and then put everything on the right hook. That's the 4-3. The 4-3, the uppercut into the lead hook. And that was all she wrote. Terrence in the first round, lost the first round, got hit by a sweeping right hand, won the second round, then began to settle down in the third round, rounds 4 and 5. He began picking Avanesian apart, doing a beautiful job of second and third and fourth layer of punches of, okay, jab, here's the camera. Okay, jab, straight left hand. You block that, but then we're going to drop this right hook to the body. We're going to make you place your hands defensively in one area and then attack the area where your hands aren't. And Terrence did that beautifully time and again. And then to end it, he started closing distance. He started saying, let's fight at phone booth range. He stopped taking half steps back behind his jab. He said, let's do it. Let's stay blow for blow on the inside. Slip, swim without getting wet. Left uppercut, and then put everything on it, on the weight, coming back with the right hook. And Avanesian was out cold. That was it. One punch, right hook, knockout in the 6th round for Terrence Bud Crawford. So I guess we could jump back to Teofimo Lopez now, who might need a knockout in this 10th round. 30 seconds left in the 9th. He's still getting checked by that lead right hand, sometimes the jab, sometimes the check hook of Sandor Martin. But Teo swelling around that left eye from that. But Teo looks like he's landed some right hands this round as well. 10 seconds left. Teo continuing to fall short with that right hand of the body, just like in round 1. All right, last round in New York. Teo is shaking his head heading back to the 10th round. And, yeah, man, it's just, I told you guys before the fight that I picked Teo, but he's not nearly as good on the front foot cutting distance as he is when a guy's coming to him, and you're seeing that tonight. So, yeah, if you're just joining us, Terrence Crawford, beautiful right hook, absolutely took out David Avanesian, beautiful right hook off the left uppercut, the 4-3 as they call it in the boxing gyms. And that was all she wrote for David Avanesian. Crawford, though, his legs look 35, 36 years old. He's getting hit more in the last couple fights by right hands more than he ever used to. His legs aren't what they were against Jeff Horn and Victor Postal. I've been saying that. I'm very validated by what I saw tonight. So Crawford, his age is showing up to me. He has slowed down a little bit. He's still an incredible fighter at putting punches together. He's still an incredible counter puncher, absolute surgeon with his punch placement and selection. But he's looking mid-30s right now. All right, but back to Teofimo. Looks like he needs a knockout in round 10. Last round from the Garden. Teo getting checked with the right hook again. He's been getting checked by that shot all night when I watched. He hasn't made any adjustments. And yes, that falls on Teo Sr. Teo Sr. has been criticized a lot. I said, give Teo Sr. some credit. Let him try to rework with his son. But tonight, it looks like Teo's going to need a new trainer because he's not fundamentally sound and he's not making any adjustments. A little over 2 minutes left in the play. Still an amazing talent, but faced with a style, faced with a guy that makes him come forward, faced with a guy that's not going to let him be the counterpuncher, Teofimo Lopez struggles. Good right hand by Teo, though. Teo jumping in with 2 right hands to the body and then shot a straight right hand up top. It landed. He'll need more of that. 2 minutes left in the round. Teo still coming in with those hands low, still looking for the same setups that he looked for in round 1. Not the adjustment. Coming in with the left hand low and shooting the straight right. He eats a jab that picks his head up right there for doing it. If you're Teo, you want to see him at some point fight out of the high guard. Pick a different stance. Pick the hands up a little bit, and don't just keep setting up the same up jab, straight right hand to the body, straight right hand to the head. And then jumping in with the left hook. Get your feet underneath you. But it's a kid who's always relied on his gifts and his talent. And when he's faced with a guy that fights off the back foot, that makes him come and get him, that makes him cut the ring off, that's not in his bag. Minute left in the round. Teo not getting anything going. He's landed a couple of right hands, but he's been checked by the right hand coming in a couple of times this round by Sandor Martin. I haven't been able to watch the fight. I'm interested to see if judges are going to reward Sandor Martin for fighting like this, though. Martin is fighting incredibly conservative. I mean, good right hands by Teo. Teo with the right hand to the body, a right uppercut, set up a straight right hand to the body. Now Martin, though, coming back, and Lopez reacting awkwardly in the ropes. And Martin attacking him on the ropes, and the referee warns Martin for that. 30 seconds left. Tick, 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 tick. Teo, another right hand lands for Teofimo. He is winning the 10th round. He is winning this round. He has landed that straight right hand a couple of times. Martin fighting like a guy who's already got the fight won in another guy's hometown. Another right hand lands for Teo. 10 seconds left. It might be too little too late. Straight right hand lands for Teo again. Check right hook for Martin. Martin on his bike, sticking his tongue out, dancing, making faces. Do the judges award him for that? Teo disgusted by an opponent not willing to engage all night, but he can't make excuses. I didn't get to catch Martin to his knees, screaming in triumph. Feels he's definitely got this fight won. 2 knockdowns for Teo. We'll see if somehow, even with 2 knockdowns, he can get a decision in the Garden. But man, it's getting really ugly for the career of Teofimo Lopez, man. And I hate to see it because he is such a phenomenal gifted athlete and talent, but not fundamentally sound and not able to make adjustments. So he didn't fight. He fought with heart tonight. He never stopped coming forward. He never became gun shy. But you could just tell so frustrated. And his dad as a coach did let him down tonight. No adjustments made in the corner by Teofimo. So let's see what happens. So let's see what happens. How'd you guys enjoy the round by round for Crawford? I mean, obviously with Teo, it started off with the round by round, but then Crawford took precedent. So, and on to Crawford, man. All I can say, I've always picked Crawford to beat Spence. I'm not so sure about that now. I'm not so sure about that, guys. The Errol Spence that fought your Dennis Ugas in April against the Terrence Crawford that fought tonight in Omaha, I might favor Spence. Might. Crawford is still so good at once he gets going, he is not good early. But once you get into the middle rounds and he's all warmed up, there's nobody better in the exchanges. If you're going to open up an exchange with him, he knows how to punctuate exchanges. He knows how to punch in between punches, maybe better than anybody in boxing. But that said, man, the way Avanesian was able to touch him up, Errol Spence should be able to do the same. And man, Crawford was able to just jab at will and dictate off the jab. He's not going to be able to do that with Errol Spence. Errol Spence has a better jab than him. So I've always picked Crawford, but he's slowing down. He's slowing down. Father Time waits for nobody. And the first thing to go are the legs, they say. The old timers in boxing always say last thing to go is the power. But I don't know. Maybe I favor Errol Spence if that fight happens next. Maybe I got to change my pick. You got to keep an open mind and keep your eyes open. If Errol Spence fights Terrence Crawford, he's not fighting the Terrence Crawford that fought Jeff Horn. He's fighting a 2023, 35, 36-year-old Terrence Crawford. And Spence against Ugas still looked at his peak. Still in the middle rounds, right by round 3 or 4 or 5, when Spence caught fire, unlike the Danny Garcia fight where he looked still compared to the old, he looked like the old Spence in Ugas once he turned it up. I think Spence might be the favorite at the Las Vegas odds. If that fight was made a year ago, 2 years, 3, 4, 5 years ago, I think Crawford would have been a favorite. I think Spence might be the favorite at the Las Vegas odds if that fight happens next now. Crawford's showing signs of age. Still an elite practitioner. Still the best in the business in the exchanges. And so if that fight becomes a firefight with Errol Spence in the 5th, 6th, 7th round, and that fight takes off and it's fight of the year type of fight, Crawford might get him out of there because nobody's better than the exchanges. But I think you got to expect Spence to build an early lead. Spence is busy. He starts off behind the jab, busy and active. So I think Spence builds a lead early in that fight, and we'll see if Spence might not want to turn it into a firefight. He might want to keep it long behind the jab by Terrence because, like I said, once you start exchanging with him, he's going to catch you in between your shots with the uppercut, with the hook to the body. So we'll see what happens. But I think I might have to, if I'm being objective, man, Spence might be the favorite, despite that beautiful one-punch knockout by Crawford. Beautiful. Again, I always love that setup. The 4-3 and the 3-4. The 3-4 is, the lead hook with the backhand uppercut. 4-3 backhand uppercut with the lead hook. And I've always loved that shot. That's a shot a lot of fighters today love. Canelo loves that setup. So that was the setup that got Avanesian out of there. So, man, we're just waiting for this. We're still waiting for that decision in New York. Let's see if Sandor Martin. It looked as though Sandor Martin definitely won the fight, but let's see if he gets awarded for it despite the excessive movement. And Teofimo's wife or ex-wife, I'm not sure if the divorce papers came through. She is ringside with his son, so kind of surprising there. Still waiting the verdict. They might be ready to fuck Sandor Martin, y'all, because this decision is taking a long time. Let's see. Let us see. Because you talk about truly needing to rebuild and get back to square one. Teofimo is a couple of seconds away from needing to do just that. After 10 rounds, here we go. All right. 95-94 Martin. We had a split, guys. 96-93 Teofimo Lopez. So there weren't two knockdowns. 97-92 for the winner by split decision. What instant? Teofimo Lopez gets the decision. So, and you guys lied to me. You guys told me he got dropped twice. It sounds like he only got dropped once. And Sandor Martin was not awarded by the judges in Teo's hometown for fighting in the style in which he fought. Like Erislandy Lara against Canelo in Vegas. The judges in the other guy's hometown, they ain't going to give you that fight fighting off the back foot like that. At some point, you're going to have to put some punches together and make your point to the judges. Make it obvious. Make it clear. And I didn't get to catch all the action, but Martin was fighting so conservatively. And that one knockdown, that wasn't enough to get it done. Teo, with the USC jersey on, so fortunate to get out of here with a win. But going forward, he does need a new trainer. He made no adjustments in the corner tonight. And he's got to learn that if he's going to go, when he fights guys fighting off the back foot, when he's got to fight coming forward and cut distance, he's got to change up the stance. He can't fight going forward the way he does shooting off counters, fighting off the back foot with a guy coming to him. He's very good when a guy's coming to him. Pedro Campa, Richard Comey, Vasil Lomachenko. You come to him, yeah, you could be athletic and fight with your hands down. But even Floyd Mayweather, who was the best ever with the lead hand low, with the shoulder roll, when he fought Zab Judah, when he fought Conor McGregor, and he looked to cut distance, when he looked to come forward and not counter off the back foot, he picked his hands up. And so Teo's got to take it to the fundamentals. He's got to learn how to fight with those hands up coming forward. Got to make that adjustment. And apparently his father is not the man to make that adjustment. Maybe he calls Joey Gamache, who helped him beat Lomachenko, but Sandor Martin is pissed at Teo. He's telling him, I'm only cut because of a headbutt. You didn't do anything. Teo's telling him you were running the whole time. You were running, and he was. There's boxing, and then there's excessive movement and kind of what they call running. And Sandor Martin was doing that. Teo says, you guys got to give me a better dance partner. The last 10 seconds of the 10 round, what were you doing, Sandor? You were dancing. That's what Teo's telling him. And Teo is right. And if you think Sandor Martin won the fight, he dropped Teo in the second, that's totally understandable. But Sandor didn't do enough to show the judges, and as an underdog, as a guy on the road, that's the reality situation. He didn't make it obvious. He didn't show that desire. I've seen it happen. If you've been watching boxing for years, you've seen this. Ask Oscar De La Hoya against Felix Trinidad. The judges are going to penalize you sometimes fighting like that, trying to close and run away with a fight like that. And CompuBox had Teofimo outlanding Sandor Martin 97-77 in Connect. So actually, CompuBox had Teo winning the fight. But so let's see. Someone said only Floyd can run and hold. No, Floyd didn't run or hold. Floyd placed that straight right hand on you and that jab to the body, and he walked you into the straight right hand and into the check hook. Floyd boxed. Sandor Martin, he did land a couple of check hooks, but Sandor Martin, that's not what he was doing, man. He was trying to, the old timers would say, like, steal the fight, just do enough to win. And maybe he did enough to win. I got to rewatch the fight, but honestly, he's got to be honest with him. I would have told him, hey, a great corner, Emmanuel Stewart, Teddy Atlas, they would have told him in rounds 9 or 10, you got to close the show or they're not going to give it to you. So that's the reality of the situation, man. Teo, very blessed and fortunate to get out of here with a win tonight. And if he fights Josh Taylor or Regis Prograis, those are better fighters than Sandor Martin. But from a stylistic matchup, those are better styles for Teo. Those are guys that are more aggressive and will allow Teo to fight and do the things he's most comfortable with. Back foot, using the reflexes, shooting off counters. But man, I love Teo Sr. I've never been like everyone else, get a new trainer. But from what I saw tonight, he might need the new trainer because there wasn't any adjustments and he's not fundamentally sound. So he can do the next level stuff that the guys with the fundamentals can only dream of, a lot of them, but the fundamentals ain't there. So, but gets out of there with the win. So, man. Man. What's up, chat? What's up, chat? I think I'm going to play some Undisputed in a minute. Frank Durden, I sound like a lawyer. Regis will kill this guy. Regis would have been big issue but it's a different style though. Regis is coming forward and he's giving Teo opportunities to do what he does best: shoot off his little short counter shots in between the punches, and that he would give him stylistically let Teo do more of what he does best. But man, that's a tough fight. Regis is bigger than him. He punches very hard, and he's a dog. We don't Teo mentally is kind of you all maybe fragile on shaky ground still right now. Regis is a dog, so Regis might be the favorite in that. I just can't sell my Lopez stock. I'm still just so enamored with the reflexes and the hand speed and the talent and the punching power. But man, he's got to get the basics down. He's got the flashy shit down. You got to jump in with the able to do athletic things that other guys can't get away with. But it's got to look at that tape.